This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate second part of What If Kid Naruto Found Two Summoning Contracts. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And for more exclusive and spicy content, follow me on Patreon. Link is in the description below. And now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Alongside Naruto as the two mercenaries entered the house, Naruto and his girls looked on. "Why aren't we kicking their asses already?" Hikari questioned. Naruto replied, "Because I want to see if Inari learned his lesson." Knowing what he was talking about, Viper and Hikari exchanged glances. Massive flashback without jutsu. They were all seated at the table, enjoying their meal at the time. Kakashi chose to spoil the atmosphere. Zabuza is still alive. Everyone was quiet, until Anko and Naruto struck the table with their heads. Viper and Hikari both used their tails or paws to slap their heads. As Anko tended to her bruised head, she said, "Only now you realize this? You are so stupid, Kakashi." But Sakura yelled, "What the hell do you mean he is alive?" Naruto asked, cleaning his ear, "Geez, Banshee, do you have to be so loud? Some of us have a very sensitive hearing. Anyway, I don't know if you realize this, but hunter nins get rid of the body in the spot, they don't take the whole body with them." Sai said, "It's truth. I have saw some hunter nins come with scrolls to the Hokage. From these scrolls, they unseal the heads of the criminals they killed. The only time they bring the body is when they need the ninja alive." Sasuke said, "So, they could have needed him alive," which caused Anko, Naruto, and Sai to strike the table with their heads. Even Hikari and Viper struck with their heads there this time. Then, in front of Zabuza, Naruto took out a bingo book and opened it. "See here, after the bounty. It says, dead only. Not, dead or alive. Just, dead only." Learn to read, Sasuke. That was pathetic. "You have already been warned enough times. Stop screaming." Viper sprang up to Sakura just as she was about to scream, clamping her tail around her mouth and squeezing a little. Sakura fell silent. Hikari exhaled in relief as a result. "Thanks, Viper." "You are welcome, Hikari." Naruto continued, "No matter, we are still strong enough to beat him and Gato any day of the week." Everyone turned to see Inari standing there staring at them, saying, "No, you are not. You are all going to die, it's useless." Naruto looked over at him. "I know you are scared, but right now you should believe in us. We were trained for this, we can do it. Stop trying to act like you are all powerful and mighty. You don't know how things have been here. You probably had a pampered life, no danger or fear whatsoever. You don't know anything about suffering." Inari screamed, unaware of what he had done. There was silence. Naruto was the source of all the murderous intent in the room. His appearance even frightened Viper and Hikari. Making him think of his life before they met him was one of the few things that made Naruto so angry. It wasn't a pretty outcome. He seized Inari and pressed him up against the wall. He then looked him in the eyes and said in an ominous and hazardous voice, "I don't know suffering. I don't know suffering. Wake up, kid. You are not the only one who has been in deep shit. I lived 5 years alone in the streets, fending for myself, getting food from the trash cans while the entire village tried to get me killed. Have you ever had the entire village beating you and yelling things like, 'Die demon die'?" Naruto wasn't finished, but Inari was ghostly white. He then turned to Kakashi and asked, "Do you see that asshole? That asshole was one of the reasons why they always found me. He would guide the people to me so they could have their fun with the demon boy, and now I have to work with him and I can't kill him because if I do, then I will be sentenced to death in the blink of an eye." Then he looked back at Inari. "You know what saved me? You see that serpent and that fox? They did. They saved me from the darkest of times and gave me a reason to keep on going. Then a woman adopted me and since then my life has become perfect. Even better, my mother found her own happiness with Anko Sensei, and as loud as they are, I love them. They became my family. But you never lost yours. You still have your mother, your grandpa, and yet you still mop like the world is all against you. Instead of crying and feeling sorry for yourself, you should do your best to help them. To become strong so you can protect them. Mark my words, kid, there is always someone in deeper shit than us." "I will go get some air," Naruto said as he released the child and left. Hikari and Viper followed this time in order to comfort him. Tears filled Inari's eyes and he shuddered. Then he bolted upstairs. Tsunami was visited by Anko. "I'm sorry for Naruto. He isn't always like this. In fact, it is rare to see him getting so angry. I'm deeply sorry." Tazuna said, "Huh, don't be." As he finished, he glanced at Sasuke, who didn't even bother to acknowledge him. If what the kid said was half right, then he had reasons to shout like that. Besides, it might be what Inari needs to get back together. Just one good reality check could do well to many people. Tsunami was a little shaken. As what he said, T.T.Tr. R. Ruth? Was a terrified question. Sasuke typed in, ass mode at M. Of course not. The Dobi just wants us to feel sorry for him, that is all. Sakura exclaimed, yeah, that Dobi is probably just making it up. Once more, there was a sense of murderous intent in the room. Anko was the source this time. I can guarantee you, he is not making it up. It is the truth, and part of it is thanks to Kakashi. Teme. So if you say one more word, you will not only be reported for going against my orders, I will kick your pompous ass all the way to Konoha and give the rest to my snakes. Did I make self clear? The woman appeared to have grown a few inches taller, and everyone nodded in fear. She went to her bedroom after calming down. Then Tsunami turned to face Kakashi and addressed him as Kakashi-san. Yes, Tsunami-chan? Kakashi asked cheerfully, that is, until a pillow and some sheets struck him. Tsunami screamed, you will sleep outside, as she lifted the pan and struck Kakashi in the head, making him flee the insane woman. Jutsu. Free Giant flashback. Kai Naruto watched until Inari screamed at the mercenaries and snatched a knife menacingly. Now. There was a lot of noise made as soon as Inari closed his eyes. The mercenaries were dead on the ground when he opened them, and Naruto was there with Viper on his shoulder and Hikari close to his feet. Then Naruto turned to face Inari. Congratulations, you are giving the first step towards the right path. Now stay here and protect your mother, I have to go and help my friends. After Inari gave a nod, Naruto departed, followed by Hikari and Viper. On the bridge Sasuke was furious, it did not appear promising. He joked that neither of them could do anything now that the Hunter Nin had taken hold of his hand. He was startled when he performed one-handed seals and yelled, hidden jutsu. 1,000 needles of death. Suddenly, all of the water-made needles in the clearing were pointing at him. He cringed as the majority of them struck him. Kakashi, damn you. Why didn't you demonstrate one-handed seals for me? With that, I could have defeated him. In addition, he had used a technique known as ice style, crystal ice mirrors. While this jutsu was initially effective because it allowed him to see a lot of himself, narcissistic bastard. It enraged him for 4 reasons. First, the Hunter Nin could move through them at a speed that neither he nor the Sharingan could match. Secondly, he was unable to replicate it. What sort of jutsu is immune to the Sharingan's copying? Third, not even his most sophisticated fire jutsu could destroy the mirrors. Fourth, Haku was constantly nailing him with needles, some of which were even striking him in the balls. I can't possibly die, so this can't be. As more and more needles struck him, he pondered. After making a few hand signals, he vanished, but not before leaving Sai in his place. When Haku witnessed Sai being struck in Sasuke's place, he was horrified. What kind of teammate substitutes his own college? Sai collapsed to the ground, unconscious. After that, Haku threw away the mirrors and screamed, what the hell is wrong with you? To sacrifice a friend like that? To Sasuke? Sasuke gave a shoulder shrug. HNF, as if he was my friend, he is just a nuisance. Besides, he should be proud of himself for serving as a way to save my life, the life of Uchiha. He was struck in the neck by Haku, who appeared out of nowhere on his front. Sasuke dropped to the floor. Then, to make sure he wouldn't be moving anytime soon, she used some needles. After that, she approached Sai and gave her some needles, causing Sai to awaken. Sai gave her a perplexed look. Aren't you going to kill me? Haku gave a headshake. She showed him the Konoha citizenship documents and said, no, I won't. In a few moments, we will all be on the same side. Sai nodded, but his eyes grew wide. What about Sasuke? Haku said in a dejected tone, I don't think neither of us can trust him right now. Sai gave a nod. So what now? Haku responded, we watch the others fight. The time is coming. Sasuke was doing better than Kakashi. He could only see a few inches through the fog, even with the Sharingan. But he knew something wasn't right. Each time Zabuza and Anko got into a fight, they would whisper to one another as if everything was prearranged. He shook his head, though, because Anko wouldn't turn on them. At last, he made the decision to play another trump card. Summoning Jutsu, he said, taking a small scroll in his hand. After a puff of smoke, Kakashi was encircled by 7 dogs who were prepared to fight. Go! He shouted, and the dogs ran toward Zabuza using their noses. The dogs were poofing as they were about to bite him in the arms when snakes suddenly emerged from the mist and attacked them. Kakashi looked over at Anko. Kakashi turned and screamed, what are you doing? Are you betraying us? At her. Zabuza realized it was time to stop pretending when Anko responded, Spare me your speeches, Kakashi. I cannot be betraying Konoha if I'm protecting one of its citizens. He noticed that Haku was also done. Kakashi's gaze grew strained. This is Zabuza Momochi, an assassin from Mist Village. Surely you don't believe he is from Konoha, much less a citizen. Oh, but I am, Kakashi, said Zabuza as he obtained the citizenship papers. You see, I got this pretty little documents that tell that I'm an honorary citizen of Konoha, who will report to the Hokage to get his rank once in the village. Kakashi was surprised. He was unable to form a complete sentence. What, how, why, but... Oh, stop it, Kakashi, you are only embarrassing yourself further. We contacted the Hokage and he agreed to give Zabuza a chance. Now shut up and get ready, we are about to have a major fight. The fog then dissipated. Gato and 9 Iwa ninja emerged on the opposite side. Gato said in a very annoying tone, so you betrayed me, Zabuza. As he got ready, Zabuza remarked, from the look of things, you are doing the same thing, Gato. Since they were aware of the animosity between Iwa and Konoha shinobi, the others followed suit. You will die, Konoha scum, shouted the Iwa ninja leader. Gato faced them. Gato screamed as he fled, kill them all, and the money I promised is yours. There was going to be a bigger fight, alongside Naruto. Naruto said, okay, girls, go do your thing. Viper questioned, are you sure you will be alright? Hikari replied, yeah, one of us can go with you. Naruto reassured him, nah, I can handle it. Therefore, Viper and Hikari left Naruto without saying anything more. A gigantic shuriken charged at him as he was making his way to the mansion. He leapt to his feet and raised his head. He noticed a man staring at him while wearing an Iwa headband. Naruto shouted, who the fuck are you? The other person chuckled. Kid, I'm Daisuke Iwasan, Junin of Iwa. And I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Daisuke and Naruto exchanged tense glances. Nobody made a move as they both looked at each other intently, searching for something to use against the other. The two then charged at one another and started a taijutsu battle as if an invisible gong had been struck. Daisuke caught Naruto's wrist when he attempted to punch him. Daisuke was sent back a few steps, though, as Naruto used his flexibility to twist himself and land both of his feet on his face before he could do anything. Naruto charged at Daisuke as he was getting his bearings and repeatedly struck him in the stomach before giving him a spinning kick to the face. A few feet from Naruto, Daisuke collapsed to the ground. To put some distance between himself and the little devil, he stood up and leapt back. Yup, I keep forgetting taijutsu is my weak spot. Still, to be so easily kicked by a genin, I really need to start correcting my mistake. Daisuke made some hand signals as Naruto began to run in his direction. Earth style, Earth Javelin Jutsu. A massive javelin materialized on his hand as he spoke. He hurried to Naruto, putting his trust in his weapon, and said, yup, I always was better when I had a weapon in my hands. Naruto had to jump as he swung the blade in his direction after taking a step to the left to avoid the javelin. Naruto thrusted his hands forward, high in the air, serpent hand. 10 serpents emerged from Naruto's sleeves, shocking Daisuke. Before the 5 snakes could bite him, he began spinning his javelin. Naruto became enraged because he saw them being killed. In that way, even though he knew they were okay and had just returned to the summoning world, he made the decision to frighten the Junin even more as he hit the ground. He shouted, making hand gestures, plasma style, plasma volleys jutsu. 5 balls of what appeared to be liquid fire raced toward Daisuke, shocking him once more. He was able to defend 3, but 2 of them struck his knee and shoulder, respectively. He screamed, claiming that even though he had been burned before, this was the worst burn he had ever experienced. He felt as though it both shocked and burned him. What the hell? The element of plasma? Does he possess any kind of inherited power? Whatever it is, I need to figure out how to protect myself from it because it's swift and lethal. As soon as he finished speaking, Naruto got ready to strike once more. He yelled, Earth style, Mud Wall Jutsu, and Plasma style, Plasma Volleys Jutsu, while making his own hand signals. The wall melted away as fast as it had formed when the volleys struck it. Daisuke was unable to do anything but gaze. Kid, that is one nasty element you have there. Makes me wish you were a missing nin, so I could take you under my wing. You are a missing nin? Then why don't you have a slash in your headband? Replied Naruto. Daisuke chuckled. Because that way, I can steal the work of my hometown. I just go to a place, say that I was the shinobi sent to deal with stuff, get the job done and get out before the team from Iwa gets there. Simple and effective. Besides, I like the headband. Subsequently, he performed additional hand signals and exclaimed, Earth style, Rock Throw Jutsu. Rocks began to levitate and fly in Naruto's direction. One scratched Naruto's shoulder, but he avoided most of them. Naruto decided to counterjutsu with jutsu, taking a cue from Daisuke as he got ready to do it once more. Both shouted, Earth Style, Rock Throw Jutsu, and Wind Style, Great Breakthrough, while making the hand signals. The rocks were carried away by the enormous gust of wind. Daisuke whistled once more. Damn, kid. I think I underestimated you. You are certainly no genin, if your repertoire of jutsu is anything to go by. I guess I have to get serious or I will be in the end of an ass swapping. Naruto's eyes narrowed. What is his plan? He talks too much. He has only demonstrated C and B rank jutsus thus far. He seems to be attempting to amuse me. Fuck, in an instant, Naruto turned and deflected a stone javelin blow with a kunai. Another Daisuke stood with it. Then Naruto leapt back and made some hand signals before the other Daisuke could react. Fire Style. Fire Dragon Jutsu. Naruto witnessed the most incredible thing happen as the fire dragon struck its target. Daisuke crumbled into the ground. Naruto wondered, when he noticed that the other Daisuke was still present. Daisuke chuckled. Confused. It's one of my prized techniques, the Earth Clone. Although I will admit, your fire dragon is impressively strong to be able to destroy my clone with just one jutsu. Naruto became enraged. By constantly complimenting his opponent, this guy makes himself appear weak, but I'm sure he's just waiting for me to underestimate him so he can quickly kill me. Since I need to step it up a notch, I hope the others are doing better. Naruto then adopted the smart fire fist fighting style, his fists blazing with chakra. You have forced me to use this. Get ready, you are going to face my full power, he said, turning to Daisuke. On the bridge after slicing another adversary in half, Zabuza pulled a kunai from his pocket to protect himself from another ninja. The ninja pushed him back, and he became enraged. Anko and he were now back.to. Back. 3 down, 6 left. This can be troublesome. Anko gave a nod. Anko threw her hands at a Junin who ducked from the snakes that approached him, saying, Haku and Sai are both dealing with the same guy, since alone they are no match for these ninja. Sakura is yelling her head out back there. Sasuke is out, and Kakashi is preparing his Reikiri. Still, we are hard-pressed to win. As he shoved his opponent away and made some one-handed hand signals, Zabuza said, Hi, but still, we are lucky with our opponents, you know. Because these guys are just puny little wimps ready to be killed by their superiors. Watch and learn, baby. Water Style, Giant Vortex Jutsu. The Iwa Junin made some hand gestures and yelled, Earth Style, Mud Wall, as a massive vortex developed. A mud wall was in front of the vortex. But Zabuza's jutsu was stronger and completely destroyed the enemy ninja. Zabuza grinned. Oh yeah, I'm still game. A snake emerged from the ground and sprinted in the direction of another ninja as Anko yelled, That is all? Watch this, baby demon, and learn with the true master. Secret technique. Suicidal snake jutsu. Millions of explosive tags covering the snake's body shined and exploded as it approached, causing the enemy to blow into pieces and the snake to puff. Kakashi yelled, Don't forget about me, Reikiri, as he put his hand through another person's chest, instantly killing him. Sorry dude, hers was way cooler than yours. She wins, Zabuza said after glancing at him, Anko, and Kakashi. One of the enemy ninjas made some hand signals and declared, If you guys done talking, we will start getting serious. Earth Style. Spike Graveyard Jutsu. The bridge was then covered in spikes. This was witnessed by Haku and Sai. But they were so absorbed in the spectacle that they neglected their own opponent. But Sai saw the attack coming and positioned himself in front of Haku, taking a blow to the stomach that would have caressed her if he hadn't moved. Haku saw what had happened as he fell and yelled, Ice Style. Crystal Ice Needles. In a fluid motion. Various ice needles then flew in the direction of the ninja who had attacked them. Then she approached Sai. Are you okay? He inquired. Yeah, you should be worried about yourself. You are wounded. Haku replied with concern. Sai said, It is nothing. Why did you do this? I don't know. My body just moved. Sai then fainted. Then Haku turned to face the final ninja. At least she could protect Sai, even though she knew she couldn't defeat him. I won't allow him to kill you, Sai, so hold on. Alongside Gato, when Gato saw his ninjas defeat the Zabuza and the Leaf Ninja, he grinned. Every mercenary, bandit, and croc he had ordered stood behind him, prepared to destroy what was left of the battle. The others cheered as Gato said, Okay boys, kill the Iwa shinobi when Zabuza and the others are done, and then we will rule this wretched country. If only they were aware that they were being observed. Ready Hikari. Viper muttered. Ready! A chant and a double shout of summoning jutsu were the only warning the thugs had before being swallowed up by a massive cloud of smoke. Gato peered around, his vision obscured by the smoke. Then screams. The screams are the worst. He heard burning sounds as well as unfamiliar ones. He then noticed two pairs of eyes as the smoke cleared. One belonged to a giant serpent and was yellow and slit. Like. The other was red, slit. Like, and belonged to a six-tailed fox that was just as large. With a glance at the quivering Gato, Shidung said, well, dear Kaisei. Look what we got here. A sweaty pig, trembling over the mud? Kaisei asked, sounding enraged, until she drew nearer and her snarling, predatory smile became visible. My favorite dish. W. 8. I can give you guys whatever you want. Money, women, men, whatever, just spare me, Gato begged. Shidung considered it. Now see here, I don't need money, and I have a lovely wife. So no to the first two. To the last one, seriously, you are sick. What do you think, Kaisei? Kaisei quickly grabbed Gato off the ground, crunched him, and swallowed. I'm sorry, Shidung, what sis you said? Shidung shocked her friend's head as she glanced at him. Really, did you just had to eat him like that? What, we still have enough with these mercenaries, replied Kaisei. Shidung destroyed the mercenaries' army completely, saying, I suppose you were right. Come on, children. Time to play. On the bridge the final Iwa shinobi grinned. Even if the two brats had taken care of his partner, he had already rendered Haku unconscious, and the enemy Junins were dead. He had to admit that the bitch put up a fierce fight, but he was still a Junin, so he prevailed. Just as he was about to receive his prize, a hand sprang up from the floor and seized him while shouting, Earth style, headhunter jutsu. Before he could say anything, he found himself with his head over the bridge and the rest hanging below. When he looked up, Kakashi emerged from the floor with a puzzled smile. You really though that killed us? Don't be a fool, Reikiri. The man was dead after that. His face was completely messed up. How are you? And the others? He asked, glancing over his shoulder to where the others were emerging from among the spikes. Anko held Sai and said, good, just Peachy here. Sai just passed out. Haku is okay, she is going to be fine. As for me, couldn't be better, Zabuza replied. Anko then approached Kakashi and threw Sai into his embrace. Kakashi shouted, hey, at the humiliation. I'm still leader of this mission and I say you carry him, said Anko. Kakashi exclaimed, what about Gato? We should go after him. Don't worry, Kakashi. Gato is being taken care of, said Anko. First, we will leave the Genins in Tezuna's house, then see if the others need help, she said, turning to Zabuza. With a nod, Zabuza and Tezuna strolled towards Tezuna's residence. Then Sakura shouted, hey, what about Sasuke-kun? Oh yeah, I knew I was forgetting something. Just take him yourself. Isn't it like one of your biggest dreams? To hold him or him to hold you? Whatever, you deal with him. Not my problem. And with that, Anko left the room. Sakura clutched her cherished Sasuke and struggled to follow her. Sasuke was a light guy, but who said that? Alongside Naruto became enraged. He was becoming weary of this. Daisuke created numerous mud clones as soon as he declared his full power. With clones all over the place, Naruto created an even larger army of shadow clones and a full-scale conflict broke out. The War of Clones had started. It appeared to be a dance of flames with clones jumping, fighting, kicking, and being destroyed everywhere, all enhanced by the fire of Naruto's fighting style. But Naruto did not find this amusing. The real Daisuke was hiding from Naruto by posing as a clone somewhere amid the flames, smoke, and clones. Because of this, Naruto had a hard time finding him, and he was growing impatient. At that point, Naruto made the decision to stop the act. After a few hand signals, fire style, fox fire jutsu. 10 foxes of fire appeared as he was saying that. As they began to run in the direction of the clones, they all exploded, creating columns of flame. Naruto was exhausted and breathing heavily, but as he was about to collapse, 2 enormous lizard creatures materialized and the ground trembled beneath him. What the? Naruto screamed. As one of the lizards trampled Naruto, Daisuke yelled, didn't I mention I had a summoning? Guess not. Anyway, you die, little one. But while doing so, Naruto took a puff. Wait, if that was a shadow clone, summoning jutsu. When Daisuke turned around, he saw 3 snakes. I am almost out of chakra. Help me, Naruto exclaimed, pointing to the lizards. Wraithamantis yelled, Burning Fang. and bit into the lizard after the three nodded. All over his body, the lizard began to twist as it experienced liquid pain. Ayakos yelled, "Poison of nightmares," and spat a glob of poison in the direction of the lizard's head as the poor creature went out like a light. As the lizard gripped his head, he began to have nightmares. He also went puffing. Now, when the final snake approached Daisuke, he shuddered. After that, Daisuke yelled, "Hey, come on, take it easy. I was just following orders. Mercy." Minnows approached and spoke in a soothing voice that could soothe even the most furious animals and inspire hope in the most hopeless men. "It's all right, no one is going to touch you. Just look at my eyes." Minnows cried out, "Stare of broken will." As soon as he did, and Daisuke's expression changed to one of utter fear. "Oh, please stop. Oh God, forgive me," and other desperation filled cries were among the things he screamed to the heavens in sheer horror. Then he leaned back against the floor and gazed up at the sky, his expression going blank and his eyes completely white. Shocked, Naruto asked, "Is he dead?" "No, child, he just wishes he was. He is alive. His mind, however, is filled with such despair it destroyed itself," explained Minnows. "So, you basically fried his brain and still kept him alive? Remind me not to get on your bad side," replied Naruto. "Keep being a good summoner, and things should be alright," Minnows replied. The three snakes vanished after that. Then Naruto let out a sigh. He dashed into the house, saying, "Right, let's end with this." With the others, including Enko, the group had just arrived at the residence. Kakashi questioned, "Where is Naruto? Shouldn't he be guarding the house?" Since Naruto was not present. Enko shouted, "He is busy, Kakashi. He is doing his part of the plan." "What plan? You have been keeping too much from me, Enko. I demand you tell me everything now." Zabuza struck him in the neck as he was shouting that, knocking him out cold. Then he turned to face Enko, saying, "Let's see what has taken the kids so long." Enko grinned. They ran towards Gato's house, leaving a banshee yelling, "Where are you going? This guys need help." As they continued to run. "You do have a way to deal with problems, Zabuza. I like it," they began. They came upon Hikari and Viper en route. Enko. "Sensei, we were just done over there, no more thugs." "Good job, now let's see what happened with Naruto." When they eventually arrived at the location of Naruto's fight, they were horrified, with the exception of Viper, who remarked, "This is the work of Minnows. Damn, I wish he would teach me that." Zabuza replied, "That is Daisuke Iwasan. One of the newest additions to the bingo book. What the hell happened to him? His will was broken," Viper exclaimed, drawing everyone's attention. "Minnows is the king of despair, because his stare alone could cause you so much despair, your mind dies and your will breaks. He is still alive, just mind dead." Zabuza's gaze grew wide. "I see now why you want to learn it, but then, where is the kid?" They strolled over to the nearby house, where Anko said, "Probably in there, seeing what he can find." Many women ran past them as they did so, shouting, "We are finally free." Zabuza became enraged. He must have kept them here for his own entertainment, that sick bastard. Anko went inside and said, "Not now, Zabuza, let's just go in there." They eventually located Naruto, but it took some time. "I have all the money in the scroll. We can spread it for the villagers. This are also the last prisoners. Let's just get out of here," he said, accompanied by a man. They all gave a nod and departed. "Where were these guys?" Zabuza asked as they emerged. With a shudder, Naruto replied, "In Gato's bedroom, in a cell." In an attempt to shake the unsettling vision from their minds, everyone froze, shuddered, and then left. The mental scar wasn't necessary for them. After a few days as they prepared to depart, everyone gathered on the bridge. Kakashi, who was still a little annoyed that they had excluded him from their plans, had been given an explanation. After attempting to murder Hiku the previous day, Sasuke was restrained and unconscious. No jutsu flashback, they were all seated to eat. Now that he had recovered, Sasuke was scowling at Hiku. Initially ignoring him, Haku's adamant glare made the task impossible. "Okay, what the hell is wrong with you?" Hiku asked, turning around. "You are the enemy and shouldn't be here. In addition, you defeated me. I promise to make amends for that error. You know exactly what's wrong." "Sasuke, we are no longer enemies," Hiku sighed. "You should stop treating me that way now that we are allies. Enko already told you. Furthermore, why do you think you can defeat me again when I defeated you quite easily?" Sakura began yelling, "What are you doing?" As Sasuke, enraged, leapt over the table with the intention of killing Hiku with a kunai he had in his head. Enko then came up behind him and chopped his neck. "You can't treat Sasuke-kun that way. Haruno. San, I'll also put you in restraints if you scream once more. I've warned him too many times, Anko screamed. It's time for him to feel what he really deserves. If you mess with us, I'll end your career as a ninja and your life as a woman. You hear me? A furious Anko shouted. As her love was bound and a suppression seal was placed around his neck, Sakura made the wise decision to remain silent. No jutsu flashback. Kai thus, as they passed through the crowds, saying goodbye to each other while Kakashi carried the waist-weight Sasuke, the people continued to say, "Thank you," and "May God bless you all." As they strolled, Inari remarked, "Naruto.ni, I will miss you." Gazing at Inari's face, Naruto grinned despite his attempts to contain his tears. "It's okay, you can cry, Inari." Inari exclaimed, "Then you can too, Oni.san. Me. I don't need to cry," Naruto exclaimed as he turned away. He had a tear in his eyes, though, if one were to look. Viper and Hikari laughed when they saw it. Anko shouted, "Okay, kids, time to go," as they all marched off. "Wait, what are we going to call the bridge?" exclaimed Inari as they proceeded. As he approached the covered sign, Tazuna remarked, "Ahead of you already, Inari." An image of Naruto, Anko, Hikari, Viper, Zabuza, Haku, Kakashi, and Sai appeared as he pulled, each striking a unique pose. Below it, it read, "The Great Heroes Bridge. In the name of the heroes of Wave, we will never forget you." The name caused everyone to cheer. The ninja watched in the woods. "Hey, why aren't Mor Sasuke there?" screamed Sakura. Sai continued, quickly, 1. You were annoying. 2. Both of you were useless and did nothing productive in the mission. 3. You always complain about everything and everyone. 4. Your voice could kill someone just from hear it and you were always screaming. Haku kept going. 6. You don't care about others. Do you really want us to continue? Sai turned to Haku as Sakura was abandoned, her mouth hanging. "I think I like you. It is very confusing as I have been trained to feel no emotion, yet, the way you speak and act is appealing, I can't describe." Haku gave Sai a startled look before grinning. "I too was trained to have less emotions possible. Maybe I can help you. Besides," Haku sighed, "I do like you too." Sai gave her a look before grinning. "Thank you, I will do my best to make you happy." Zabuza shouted, "You better," from behind him, his sword poised to split him in two. "Or I will kill you." Zabuza turned and saw Naruto with a kunai in his hand. "The threat goes to you too. Zabuza.san. Zabuza exclaimed. "You treat Anko. Kassen or Miko. Kassen bad, you die." Anko gave a headshake. "Boys, they always think we need them to defend us." Haku laughed. Then Viper turned to face Anko and said, "That means they care about us, Anko. Sensei." Hikari's comment caused the others to nod and laugh. "Yeah, and they can be pretty entertaining when they really get into it, trying to act all high and mighty towards one another. It's like a rooster fight, only much more unpredictable and fun," she said. As the tension subsided, Naruto said, "Okay guys. To Konoha, for ramen." "You wished. First candy," exclaimed Hikari. Anko demanded, "Oh no, I am team leader and I say dango." "Don't even try it, we will go to barbecue and that is final," replied Viper. Abruptly, they began fighting, and chaos ensued. After looking shocked, Zabuza burst out laughing. "At least with them things don't get boring. I knew I had chosen the right side." Koketsu and Azumo sighed. They began playing Go to kill time since they were once again confined to guard duty. Azumo, who detested his partner's sloth, said, "It's your turn, Koketsu." As he moved slowly, Koketsu said, "Calm down, you seem like you want to end the game already and we are just starting." Azumo quickly completed his move on the game and said, "Oh shut up, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here in the first place." Koketsu once again took his sweet time to make his move, saying, "Geez, I thought they were silencing tags. How was I supposed to know they were explosive tags? We shouldn't even be playing. We should be doing our duty. Remember, if they catch us, we will be put with Iruka teaching kids." Azumo replied. "What are you afraid of? It's not like a missing nin is going to appear all of a sudden," replied Koketsu. Zabuza shook his head as the two guards jumped out of their skins. "Well, since we have been here for quite some time, I would say it is not all of a sudden. These guards are pathetic. In Kirigakure, the guards would not slack off for nothing of this world. In Kirigakure, the guards could be killed for sneezing, Zabuza. Sama." Haku replied. "Besides, even if they didn't, they probably died anyway to make an example for the others. That is no way to live. So what if the leader has to be a little tyrannical? I know there are things I hate about the Mizukage, but he still got his men to work. I just entered the village and with the attention this two were paying, I could have walked past here with no problem. Azumo exclaimed, enough, as he and Koketsu each prepared a kunai. Zabuza Momochi, you will not pass through here. Anko said, easy there with me gentlemen. She handed them Zabuza's and Haku's citizen documents while saying, here, read this papers. They're from the Hokage himself. Azumo examined the documents to check for any irregularities. He continued, well, everything seems in order. Sorry about this. The Zabuza said, no problem. Zabuza responded, you were just doing your job. However, as his eye began to glow menacingly. If I catch you slacking off again, I will make your lives a hell. Both gave frightened nods. Hi. The group then proceeded in the direction of the Hokage Tower. Azumo came to a realization at that point. Hey, shouldn't Kakashi's group be with them? Now that he was carrying Sasuke, Sai said, we should, but we have to carry extra weight. Sakura was directly behind him, prepared to scream if he dared to let her Sasuke-kun fall to the ground. Kakashi continued to read his book as he followed. Kakashi, aren't you going to accompany the others? Kakashi sighed as he looked up. Team 7 then proceeds to walk in the direction of the Hokage Tower. I think that as soon as we reach Hokage Sama, I am going to be screwed. So you can see why I have no hurry. With Sarutobi let out a sigh. There had been a great deal of trouble ever since the council learned that the Hokage had given Enko and Naruto captain status of a mission. The anti-Enko group first debated whether or not to assign such a insane and whore of a Junin to any position of authority. Second, according to the anti-Naruto party, the beast shouldn't be given any kind of authority. However, things took a turn for the worse when they learned that Sasuke Uchiha was on the team that these two were supposed to be leading. Hokage Sama, how dare you put that thing and that whore in charge of young Sasuke and my daughter? Does someone remind you of them? Yes, this is Sayaki, Sakura's mother. She is even more aggressive and boisterous than her daughter. Even worse, she and her family own a large number of businesses in Konoha, including stores of all kinds. She therefore possessed a great deal of power and typically had the support of the merchants. The majority supported her because, if they didn't, they risked having their customers simply vanish from their stores. Tuchi, Ayame, and the Higurashi were the only merchants and store owners who did not side with her. The latter did so because they were one of the few ninja shops in Konoha and were unlikely to lose customers anytime soon. Yes, Hokage Sama, surely you are mad to send a beast to be in charge of Sasuke Sama, exclaimed a quiet civilian council member. People of the council, I will not tolerate that you speak of Naruto in such fashion. The law I made still stands, Sarutobi said. Danzo said, regardless, you still acted incorrectly by putting a genin in charge of a team. One that had a Junin. The other members of the council room nodded in agreement. When Sume Inuzuka exclaimed, I say he was right to do it, others stared at her in disbelief. I heard from my pup about him. Thanks to him, my pup almost beat his sister in the sparring match, and she is the best in the clan excluding me. If he can do that to Kiba, then I guess he is teacher material. Shibi Aburame said, I agree. My son has been training with him as well. At first he complained about the training being very severe, but at the same time said that he could feel the change it was making and was liking it. Now he is the Aburame with best taijutsu skills and already one of the top 5 Aburames at such a young age. Guess who said, you let your children train with that freak? Sarutobi warned, Sayaki, you have been warned already. One more slip and I will have you be dragged by the Anbu for a bit of time with Ibiki. As I understand it, he is very fond of the kid. Sayaki complained but remained silent. If your concern is the security of Mr. Uchiha, then I can tell you that only Kakashi is to blame for this. After all, he was the one that kept going in after knowing it was an A-rank mission, he said, turning to face the council members. That is beside the point, it is the central point. If that didn't happen, Naruto and Anko could have done the mission by themselves. They're very capable ninjas and could have handled it. Since Kakashi showed weak signs of leadership, I decided to put Anko in charge. What about the boy? Why was he in charge? Because he showed to have better judgment than Kakashi. If he was going forward with it being a B rank, I would have considered it a teacher being proud of his students and leave it at that. However, it was an A rank with the presence of Zabuza Momochi. As soon as he was done speaking, an Anbu came into the room. Pardon me, Hokage Sama. But the people you have been waiting for are here. Excellent. Bring them in, Sarutobi exclaimed. The Hokage's decision to permit someone to enter during a council reunion perplexed the council. When the team came in, Most of the civilians glared daggers at Naruto and Anko, like they were trying to kill them with their eyes. Is that supposed to scare us? Asked Naruto. Peef, Zabuza, why don't you show them how it is done? Zabuza shrugged. Why not? As he said that, he started bombarding the council members with killer intent, making all sweat in fear. Hey, that sounds fun. Let me try it, said Anko as she too spilled killer intent towards the civilian council. By now, and with two very strong killer intents pointed at them, some council members had passed out, the others had shitted themselves. Zabuza, Anko, stop harassing the council, yelled Sarutobi. Bummer, said Anko as she and Zabuza stopped filling the room with killer intent. Alright, now on to business. Sarutobi then took toe headbands. He then gave one to Zabuza. Zabuza, the council and Y agreed that you must spend 2 months on probation before being considered a true leaf ninja. So for 2 months, I will have you do mission with an escort. Oh please Sami, I will take good care of him, I promise, said Anko, making Sarutobi sweat drop. Since you insist. Very well. After the 2 months, you can take missions on your own or take a genin team as we have agreed that the Junin title is the most indicated to you, said Sarutobi. Alright, I will think about having a team. Don't expect them to be pampered, I am making ninjas, not cry babies, said Zabuza. Very well. He then gave another headband to Haku. And Haku, we couldn't agree with which rank you should have, so tomorrow afternoon you will be tested to see which rank fits the best to you. I understand. Haku then asked, can I start a clan here? It will be complicated, since you are female. However, should you have children, we can allow you clan status, said Sarutobi. Very well. Just not yet, said Haku. I wish to wait time before thinking about that. It is understandable, said Sarutobi. As he said that, Kakashi's team finally entered the room, Sai still carrying a tied Sasuke. One doesn't need to know what a tied Sasuke plus a council filled with idiots equals to. A lot of yelling, what the fuck happened with Sasuke, Sama? Why the hell is Sasuke? Sama tied. I demand you to release Uchiha Sama from his confines. The yelling was insistent. Sarutobi was nearing his limits. Shut up immediately or I will send you all to Ibiki. This is not a joke. Everyone was silent, even Naruto and the others. Sarutobi, the nice and patient Sarutobi, yelled. Oh fuck, the end of the world is here, yelled Naruto. Take cover, yelled Hikari. As Naruto, Hikari and Viper jumped behind Anko and pretended to hide there, making Anko, Zabuza, Haku and even Sai to snicker at their antics. If you are done fooling around, said Sarutobi, can you tell me why Uchiha-san is in chains? Sure can old man, said Anko. You see, Uchiha Teme here has been disobeying my orders ever since the beginning of the mission. Second, he mistreats his colleges like they are dogs and he is some king. Then, in the bridge and to save his own skin, he used the substitution with a fellow team member, almost killing him in the process. Finally, he attacked a confirmed ally just for petty revenge and hurt pride. That is a lie. Sasuke Sama would never do such things. You just hate him and so you lie. Will that woman ever shut up? Yelled Zabuza. I had enough of your screeching voice, lady. You yell one more time and I will cut your head from your shoulders and use it for kunai practicing. Besides, it is the truth. Your sorry excuse of Uchiha was a very weak and pathetic delusional fool. He tried to face me head on with medium genin skills. Me, a Junin, face BA kid with genin abilities. Imagine the bad image that gives of the mighty Uchihas. You keep yourself out of this. You're like her, a Liang bastard that hates the UCHIHAS. Why you, that is enough. Anbu, escort Lady Sayaki to Ibiki. Tell him she has pestered me for far too long. As Sayaki was being taken, Sarutobi turned to everyone else. Understand this, people of the council. I will not accept this blatant disrespect to go any longer. Now Sasuke will be evaluated by my own trustworthy psychologist and if they deem so, he will be put under house arrest. If not, then he will be integrated back into shinobi service. Surely you exaggerate, old friend. I mean, we can forgive some rookie mistakes, can't we? Said Danzo. We can't if they endanger the rest of the team. If we had done the same in our time, we would be stripped of our title as shinobi and not be able to do the genin exam for a full 2 years. I'm already being generous with this. What about other members of Team 7? Kakashi showed no signs of acting as a professional Junin. The kids didn't even know how to do 3 walking. That they were taking a C rank shows how foolish and prideful Kakashi was, but an A rank was asking for the death of his genin. Although he did spend a lot of time training Teme.no. Stick flipper. All for nothing, I guess. Sakura was a dead weight. She did nothing but scream her heart out about Teme.no. Stick flipper's brilliance and how the other should bow and kiss his feet. Sai was the best of the group, showing signs of training and dedication throughout the mission, even going as far as dealing with a Junin with the help of Haku. Said Anko. For a more detailed version, just check out my report later. And mine too, said Naruto. We did our own as well, said Viper and Hikari. I didn't do a report, but I can point some serious flaws on that team, particularly the lack of brains, said Zabuza, before turning to Sai. No offense. None taken, said Sai. Very well. Sakura, you are to present yourself for evaluation in a week's time. If by then you are able to prove you have genin skills, I will allow you to continue being a genin. If not, I will strip you from your rank and send you to the academy, said Sarutobi. You can't do that to me, Sasuke. Kun will, started Sakura. Will what? Asked Sarutobi. If you haven't realized, I am the leader of this village, not Sasuke. I am the one that says what happens and what doesn't, and I am the one that decides things around here. You are dismissed. As Sakura left the place, he turned to Kakashi. As for you, I am very disappointed. I thought that if you had learned something from Obito, it was about teamwork and not to neglect your students. I thought that Minato was also a fine example of it. With so fine examples, I am left confused as to why you turned out like you did. What do you mean? I turned out to be one of the most powerful ninjas in this village. I am Ninja Kakashi Hitaki. Yes, and what does that mean? Does it mean that you are immortal? Does that mean you are superior to other Junin? That you can come late to any meeting you are appointed to? That you can neglect your students in favor of one? No, Kakashi. You are hereby stripped of your status as a Junin of the Leaf. You are now a Chunin. You are to report tomorrow to my office for your mission at exactly 7 o'clock. Failure to do so and I will cut your budget to half. Is that clear, Kakashi? Said Sarutobi. Hi, Hokage. Sama. Said Kakashi, defeated. Good. Naruto, Anko. You are to report here tomorrow too, but you guys are to be here at 10 o'clock. You too, Sai. As for you Zabuza, we still have the matter of where you are going to live. At my house. Said Anko. Don't worry, we still got space and it is until he can pay a new home, if by then he still wants to leave that is. As Zabuza chuckled and Naruto grinned, Sarutobi coughed. Yes, well, you are dismissed. And with that, the ninja left the council room, leaving Sarutobi to deal with the council again. In the street. So, Anko, care to escort me and Haku to our new home? Asked Zabuza. Actually, I would like to see the stores around the village, said Haku. We can show you to them, said Hikari and Viper. Fine then. Make sure she gets home, said Zabuza as Hikari and Viper guided Haku through the streets. Now, Anko, could you lead the way? Why of course, follow me, said Anko before she turned to Naruto. Shrimp, you have the day off. Go and show Sai to those other Gakis you train with. Right, follow me, Sai, said Naruto as he started walking towards the training grounds. Sai turned to him and asked, who are these other Gakis? Gakis is the way Anko calls them, they are as old as you and me. Kiba is an Inuzuka, but a good friend and a tough guy at Taijutsu. Shino is an Aburame, logic and strategy is his game. Those guys started working with me for some time and already they are on their way to become exceptional shinobi, said Naruto. We should find them in Training Ground 8, since it's their team's training ground. As they reached there, they found Kiba doing some hand signs. Thunder style. Lightning sparks. And with that, he thrusted his hand forward, creating kunai like sparks that flew towards Shino. Shino jumped to the side and did hand signs of his own. Earth style. Mud wall. As the two continued the insane sparring, Sai took a book and started writing. Naruto saw that he had written something about the techniques he saw and their fighting styles, strong points and weak points too. He laughed. Hey guys, nice to see you aren't slacking here. Both turned and smiled as they saw Naruto. Hey dude, who is that guy? Asked Kiba. This is Sai, he was with Team Kakashi, though it was disbanded, said Naruto. What why? Asked Kiba. It was an accident waiting to happen, said Shino. Sasuke was full of himself and Sakura is worthless. It would take a Sannin to be able to do something with such a team. Add to that Kakashi-sensei didn't really train us that much either, and you have a failure for a team, said Sai. That is why he is here too, he is going to train with us, said Naruto until he looked around. Say, Kiba, where is Akamaru? Kiba only smiled before Naruto was thrown to the floor by Akamaru, who jumped from behind him. "He got you. You are losing your touch," yelled Kiba. "Yeah, he sure did," said Naruto. "Congratulations, Akamaru, you just did what others have failed to do. Catch me off guard." Akamaru barked happily as he jumped of Naruto's back. Naruto raised himself and said, "Just for this one, I am going to give it to training extra hard. Next time, you will not catch me off guard." "Well, what are you waiting for? Let's go," yelled Kiba. With that, they started training. A few hours later, Naruto reached home, tired of the day's events. The training took a lot out of him and he wanted nothing but to rest. Suddenly, he saw some papers in the fridge. He grabbed them and read the first. "Dear son, don't wait for me tonight as me and Anko will not come home. Don't worry about us, we just have some plans for tonight. I will see you in the morning. Love you, Mom." He smiled. "Miko." He then grabbed the other, already dreading what he was about to read. "Dear Shrimp, tonight me and Miko will be busy having hot and passionate sex with a certain demon of the mist. We will be using a hotel because Hikari asked for the house for herself and Zabuza didn't want to disturb Haku. Love you, Anko." Naruto's sweat dropped. "I'm starting to feel deja vu, but if it ends like last time, I'm game." However, he noticed a third paper in the fridge. "Dear Naruto-kun, I am sorry, but father called and wanted me to go to the Serpent's Jungle. I might have to spend the night there. I am sorry about the short warning, but I was caught off guard by this too. Love you, Viper." Naruto slumped a bit, but then remembered what about Hikari. It was then that a strange smell hit his nose. A smell that made him crazy with lust. Without thinking, he ran towards his room, his previous tiredness forgotten as he did so. Lemon. Hikari was on his bed, on all fours, hinge in place and her ass lifted in the air as high as she could as her pussy released some pheromones. She knew that as soon as Naruto had a whiff of them, he would haul to the room and then she would either have the night of her life, or be seriously screwed. This idea only grew when Naruto came into the room, his eyes filled with lust and his clothes tarnished by his lust-induced madness. She now knew her future. She was going to have the night of her life and be screwed. Naruto didn't waste a moment as he jumped on Hikari and entered her pussy in one thrust, making Hikari yell in pleasure. Naruto didn't give her time, though, and started pounding like there was no tomorrow. Hikari panted and gasped. She knew using her pheromones would have a strong effect, but not this much. She was feeling him go deeper and deeper in her as he pounded with more and more strength in each thrust. Oh yes. Oh fuck, so good. Naruto decided that meant faster, because soon he was even using chakra to power his hips up. Hikari no longer yelled as she now only moaned at his rough treatment. With a mighty roar, he buried himself in her and released his seed. Hikari grew stiff as she released a loud yell. But Naruto wasn't done. While Hikari was still stiff, he took his dick out of her pussy and buried it in her ass with one strong push. Hikari barely had time to scream as Naruto forced her head on the mattress and pummeled her with the same strength and speed as before. Oh fuck. Oh god. It's too much. Aw fuck. Yelled Hikari as Naruto continued to thrust into her. Naruto only grunted as he kept thrusting. Oh fuck me, he isn't stopping anytime soon, is he? I just hope that in this state of mind he can't use that advanced hinge of his or I'm really screwed, and would love every second of it, thought Hikari. Naruto kept going and going, thrusting into her and forcing her head down in the mattress. Finally, with a loud howl, he came into her ass. Hikari screamed her own orgasm out and her body fell. Suddenly, Naruto started thrusting again, making Hikari go high-eyed. A few minutes later, Hikari was lost to the world. She was drooling all over and her long-abused ass and pussy were leaking already. Naruto had just calmed down after having forced her into 4 more orgasms, this time he had only came twice. As she basked in the afterglow, Naruto came to his senses. Oh, my head. What happened? Said Naruto. He then saw Hikari's state and immediately remembered what happened. Oh fuck. Are you alright, Hikari? Hikari smiled. Yes, Naruto. I am alright. Just a bit sore. I have never been pummeled like that. I am sorry. I shouldn't. Naruto, don't blame yourself. If anything, it is my fault. As she said this, Naruto looked directly at her. I was releasing pheromones so that you would fuck my brains out and I got what I wanted. Besides, she then got a mischievous smile. I did enjoyed it, you savage beast. Naruto chuckled. Hikari then looked down on him and got wide-eyed again. You can't be ready again. How are you hard already? Naruto scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. I have been training my stamina so I could please you 2 more. I guess it worked. Hikari rolled her eyes. Figures. But now my pussy and ass are sore. As Naruto looked at her with a sorrowful eyes, she grinned. That being said, I always wanted you to try my breasts. Naruto looked at her and then at her breasts. Those D-cup breasts did look inviting, so after getting a nod from her, he settled himself on her chest. He grabbed her breasts and held them together. Then he started to slip between her breasts slowly. He gasped at the feeling. The fur around her breasts was tickling his cock, sending pleasurable jolts over his all-being. He started trusting slowly, the recent rutting still taking a weight in his conscience. Hikari moaned. Just as Naruto, she felt the cock in his hands stroking her breasts. However, the slow pace was at best annoying. After that hard romp they had, she wasn't going to be satisfied with a snail pace. Naruto, please go faster. Naruto did so, even if reluctantly. As soon as he did, a moan escaped his own lips. Fuck, your breasts are so soft. Your fur is caressing my dick. You like it, don't you? Want more? Then go faster, Naruto, said Hikari. As soon as he did, she decided to help him out and turned her head to look down at his dick, the head poking out of her breasts. She opened her mouth and started licking the head. Oh fuck. As soon as he said that, Naruto went back to full strength in his trusts. You're so good, Hikari. I already want to come. Come already, blast my tits with your seed, she pleaded. Naruto did as he was told. He came out from between her breasts and came over tits. As if mechanically, Hikari used her fingers to spread his cum through her breasts and chest. Naruto was transfixed by the sight. When Hikari noted his look, she smirked. What? I like my mate's essence and smell. Naruto looked at her, came closer and kissed her in the mouth. They held each other close as they fell asleep. In a hotel room. Oh fuck, you are going to be the end of me, complained Zabuza as he kept thrusting into Anko. Miko had already had her pumping and was kissing Anko fully on the lips, a sight that spurred Zabuza further in his trusts. I'm coming. Me, too, said Anko between pants. With a final trust, both came at the same time. As both fell on the bed, Zabuza breathed deeply. Damn, that is one hell of a workout. You girls are insatiable. Hey, you held yourself just fine there, Zabuza.kun, said Miko. Yeah, gave us one hell of a fuck, you did, commented Anko. I would be very disappointed with myself if I didn't, said Zabuza. The three snuggled to sleep and Zabuza had only one thought in mind. I scored. Next day, Hokage's office, oh and end lemon. I am here Hokage. Sama, said Kakashi. Almost, Kakashi, but you still got here 10 minutes late. You are going to receive half the payment. Today is guard duty for you, said Sarutobi. Come on, it was just 10 minutes. Besides, shouldn't Koketsu and Izumo do that? Asked Kakashi. 1. If it was the first time or you rarely came late to meetings, I would look the other way at the 10 minutes, but you do it all the time and you must realize the consequences of being late. 2. Izumo and Koketsu are assigned to a different mission right now and 3. You do not question the Hokage for he can simply strip you from your status as shinobi, or have Naruto prank you. Kakashi was eye-wide. You wouldn't, what have I told you about question what your Hokage says you? Now go, you are dismissed, said Sarutobi, not wanting to deal with that guy. As soon as Kakashi was out, he turned to his eternal enemy. Time to battle again, you stupid paperwork, yelled Sarutobi as he jumped over and attacked the cage enemy. A few hours later, his secretary came in. Sir, it is just to warn you that Naruto, Anko and Sai are here. Can I send them in? Ah yes, you may, said Sarutobi. He, however, gasped as Naruto, Anko, Hikari, Viper and Sai entered. The thing is that only Viper and Sai seemed rested. Naruto, Hikari and Anko were a mess with big grins. Do I really want to know? Who did you guys prank? Asked Sarutobi. Not a prank, Sarutobi, just a hot and passionate sex all night long, said Anko, making the old man have a nosebleed. As soon as he had gotten it under control, he said, yes, well, there is a matter I would like to speak with you. The Chunin exams are coming and I was wondering whether you wanted to enter or not. Of course I do, Sarutobi. G.San, yelled Naruto. I would like that as well, said Sai. Well, there is a problem. Even with Sai in your team, you are only 2 and to enter the Chunin exams, you need a third member, said Sarutobi. Everyone in the room looked at him. You mean that until you find a third member, I cannot allow you to participate on the Chunin exam? What about Haku? Asked Naruto. She could do the Chunin exams, right? It is not surprising you would think this way, Naruto. However, to enter the Chunin exams, one must do at least 12 D rank missions or 3 C rank or 1 B or A rank mission. Officially, she hasn't done a single mission yet, if she is considered a genin that is, said Sarutobi. What about the wave mission? It is an A rank, said Naruto. She wasn't an official leaf ninja yet. That mission was only passed by your team and Kakashi's, which was disbanded, said Sarutobi. Then who? Asked Naruto. From what I know, none of the other teams is going to be able to give us support. So either we get a member from an older team or we pass this time and wait till Haku is ready, said Sai. Personally, I think it is more logical to just get an older member, though I find myself wishing that we could wait out. Why is that? This made the others in the room sweat drop. Anyhow, Sai is right. Either you pass this year and wait, or you take an older comrade to do it. I do have some people that could go well in your team. These candidates are already considered Chunin material, some even Junin. But never passed the exam, said Sarutobi. Why? Asked Naruto. Various reasons. Let's start with Sao Inuzuka, said Sarutobi as he grabbed some stacks of paper, taking the first one out. He has 2 dog partners and is an expert in taijutsu. Didn't became Chunin because on the day of the final prove one of his nin dogs got sick and he refused to do the test without it. No way, old man, said Anko. I am not taking care of any dog boys, Kurenai does that. Besides, the kid didn't participate because of one nin dog, that means that he, alone, is weak. Even though Naruto fights with Viper and Hikari, I guarantee that he is not an easy target alone. Point taken. The second is Shinigo Nara. He is like a normal Nara, sleep and intelligence. Failed second part of his exam last time, said Sarutobi as he looked at the second paper. Next, said Sai, making everyone look at him surprise. I know that guy. Adding to the Nara qualities comes an arrogance and pride to high. Not worth it. He will be more of an Indrace than help. Sarutobi nodded. Next, we have Higura Hyuga. Next, yelled Naruto. No Hyugas please. Those guys are still mad at me for the last prank. You mean they are still mad about the feather prank? Asked Anko. No, he means the prank we did this morning, said Hikari. She then turned to Viper and Naruto and asked, shouldn't they be screaming already? What prank? Asked Sarutobi. Suddenly, a huge bam was heard. After that, screams and laughter were heard. There was a distinctive, Naruto oh in the background. Naruto then jumped to the ceiling and said, you guys never saw me. As Viper activated a genjutsu so they were all invisible. There was a large commission outside the Hokage's office. Then the door opened and Sarutobi was in for a treat. Hiyashi Hyuga, pink. His hair and clothes were pink. Somehow even his fingernails and eyes were pink. He came to the Hokage and said, this can't go on. Sarutobi tried to maintain himself without laughing while Anko laughed on the floor. Sai kept quiet, though one could see he was smiling at the Hyuga's appearance. You are right, Hiyashi. This can't go on, said Sarutobi. First the feathers, now all the members of the main house are pink. This time even Hanabi was caught. This is an outrage, said Hiyashi. I totally agree with you, said Sarutobi. This is tarnishing my clan's image. Something must be done, said Hiyashi. Indeed, your lack of fashion sense has really gone too far. We have to put an end to it, yelled Sarutobi, maintaining a serious expression. Silence filled the room. Then 3 people fell on the ground. Hiyashi fell anime style for the stupidity. Anko and Sai just couldn't hold themselves up as they were laughing so hard. If one were to look to the ceiling, they would see some shimmering as Naruto laughed quietly. Sarutobi. I am not trying fashion outfits, this was a prank, yelled Hiyashi. Really? Because even though it is quite colorful, this new look of yours is better than your normally all-white clothes, Hiyashi. I thought you were establishing new Hyuga outfits, said Sarutobi, causing new round of laughing. Knock it off, Sarutobi, yelled Hiyashi. Knock what off? The joke or your fashion sense? 'Cause I think the last one is already knocked off, said Sarutobi. This proved to be too much as Naruto fell from the ceiling, laughing his ass off. Stop, ha ha ha, please, ha ha ha, you will kill me, ha ha ha, if you keep this up, boo ha ha ha, yelled Naruto between laughter. Viper and Hikari were also rolling on the ground, not able to hold their laughter. I will kill you, yelled Hiyashi as he jumped toward Naruto, intent in killing him. Naruto evaded that and jumped out of the window, starting a mad run through the village as Hiyashi had jumped right behind him and was now chasing him. Hikari and Viper had been left behind in the office, so they came to the window. Then Viper turned to Hikari and said, "You got the goods?" Hikari nodded as she took out a scroll from God knows where. She then said, "Unseal," and popcorn appeared. Both summons laid back as they watched the show. making the other people in the room sweat drop. Aren't you girls gonna help him? Asked Anko. Nah, he will be alright, said Viper, he always is. So, who do you think is going to help Hiyashi first? Anbu or Hyugas? Asked Hikari. Hyugas, said Viper. How do you know? Said Hikari. They are already chasing him. And Viper was right as many anime dust clouds made by running Hyugas appeared and started chasing Naruto. This doesn't look good, said Sai. What are you talking about? This is nothing, said Hikari. So what do you think he is going to use to get rid of the Hyugas? Do you think he is going to throw a cat in the Inuzuka kennels? Already use, said Viper. You think he is going to scream, bug haters, at the Aburame compound? Asked Hikari. 1. The Aburames are too logical to fall for that. 2. Already used, said Viper. Then what? Asked Hikari. I don't know, but one thing is for certain, if the Anbu join, then I know there is only one guy that he is going to ask for help to deal with this, said Viper. Hikari and Anko shivered as both knew who she was talking about. That is so cruel, I hope he does it, said Anko. He will, look, said Hikari. A new anime dust cloud appeared, this time it was the Anbu. Oh boy, here it comes, said Viper. What are you talking about? What is he going to use? Asked Sarutobi. The ultimate weapon of mind destruction, yelled Hikari. Once you have seen him, you are going to wish you were dead, said Viper. Here he comes, yelled Anko. Then, on the background, the voice of Naruto was heard. Kakashi was able to dance the tango with all this people for 5 hours. Yash, yelled Might Guy as he appeared. Then I shall dance the tango with all this people for 6 hours, and with that, he jumped to the dust clouds. As he did, he dressed himself in a green tango clothes and said, Let's dance. As soon as the people saw him, they ran for their dear lives with fear. Guy then said, You may run, but I am going to succeed, yelled Guy as he ran after them. In the Hokage's office, everyone was laughing their asses off. As they did, Naruto appeared, but he was glaring at Sarutobi. No fair, OG.san. Why did you have to make me laugh? Oh, calm down, Naruto. I knew you could outrun him. Besides, call it an old man's prank if you would, said Sarutobi. Naruto grinned. His smile was an evil and made Sarutobi rethink of his actions. So you decided to enter the world of pranks, huh? Well, you may regret it, because here, I am Supreme King. Everyone shuddered as they looked at him. Then Naruto stopped with the evil act and said, So next candidate? Sarutobi blinked before he went back to the papers, carefully taking all the Hyugas from the list. Well, it's Inuarashi Yamanaka. He is versatile in clan jutsus and, oh no, better not think of this one, said Sarutobi as he put the paper away. Why? Asked Anko. That guy failed last time on the first part, because he broke a nail. He just said, I can't go on, Proctor, I want to quit. What kind of teammate is this? Asked Sarutobi. As everyone face-palmed at this, Sarutobi took another paper. Oh, this one may catch your attention. Sayuri is an expert of illusions and kenjutsu as she is able to use a ninjutsu that she has strapped to the back. Failed last time on the last part of the exam and has trained hard ever since then. Both Naruto and Sai looked at each other, then turned to Sarutobi and yelled, We will take her. Yes, old man, said Anko. Perfect candidate, since she is a genjutsu expert and genjutsu is the weakness of this guy's. What is her last name, though? Asked Naruto. She doesn't have any, said Sarutobi, though Naruto could see that he was hiding something. Anyway, I shall have her go to whatever training ground you wish. You have 2 months to train for the Chunin exam. Got it? Yes, sir, yelled the three. As Naruto and Sai disappeared, Anko said, Make it training ground 44 please, as she too disappeared. Sarutobi sighed. Dealing with that team was both hilarious and tiring. He was about to open his porn shelf when his secretary entered the room. Sorry Hokage. Sama. I have here the report about the test to the new ninja, Haku Momochi. Excellent, let me see, said Sarutobi as he grabbed a paper. So Chunin. It's a good thing I told them to accept a new member. If they had decided to wait, they would be very disappointed. Dismissed. The secretary left the room. Once she did, he grabbed the porn shelf and opened it. There, in top of his books, a small serpent looked at him and said, I am here to tell you that porn is bad. Fire style. Fire body jutsu. As her body was caught in flames, so did his Icha Icha. Sarutobi yelled, NNNNNNNO. Damn you Naruto, as he tried to put out the flames. In the forest of death, Naruto was the one that had to go to the gates so then he could bring the new member to the tower while Hikari, Viper and Sai were training already. Naruto was getting impatient, but steeled his resolve. This is like one of his pranks, be patient or you will blow things up. Just as he thought that, a girl appeared. She was as tall as Naruto with black hair in the shape of crow's wings. She also had black eyes and had one hell of a body. She was dressed in a black shirt and white shorts, with bandages on her hands and on the foot. A ninjutsu was strapped onto her back. Naruto steeled his resolve again and decided to test the new girl. Jumping down from his tree, he came around her and jumped to her back. As he did however, he passed right through her and ended on the floor. What the? Naruto looked back and saw the image of the girl disappearing. Then a girl just like the first one appeared. It is always prudent to test the waters first. That is why I send a bush in first. It was quite easy, she said as she came closer to him. Sayuri is my name. Yours? Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto as he raised himself. Now that the introductions are made, where is the rest of the team? Asked Sayuri. Naruto grinned and pointed behind him. The girl looked behind him and said, very well. Could you lead the way? I have only been there once and my team had a hard time there. Sure. Said Naruto. Just try to keep up, and started jumping through threes, Sayuri right behind him. In the tower. All right, keep going. Yelled Anko as Hikari and Sai were doing push-ups. Viper couldn't do those exercises, so she was training her flexibility, stretching as much as she could in all directions. Just then, Naruto arrived with the new girl. Anko looked at the girl suspiciously, thinking that there was something amiss with the girl. But shrugged it off. All right, welcome to Team Anko. You must be Sayuri. Hi. Said Sayuri. You must be Anko Midarashi, Konoha's snake mistress. That is me. Said Anko. Then one doing push-ups is Sai. Next to him is Hikari of the Fox clan and over there you have Viper. Pleasure. Said all who were doing the exercises without stopping. It is nice to meet you all. Said Sayuri. Now that the pleasantries are out of the way, you and Naruto better start running, because you guys are already too far behind the others. Move, yelled Anko. In a minute, both were running. Naruto was in the front and Sayuri was behind him. He then turned back and said, oh, and from now on, try to get here at 8 o'clock. It's for the best if you do not want to piss Anko-sensei off. Sayuri nodded, knowing it was probably for the best. At the end of the day, Sayuri was a mess. Her hair was completely glued to her skin, her clothes were wet with sweat and she was panting hard, almost unable to keep herself up. The others looked at her and smiled. You know, normally people would have passed out by now. You're good. Said Naruto as he too was panting, but was not as bad as her. You guys do this training every day? Asked Sayuri. Yeah, most of the time, except when Naruto has a prank, said Viper. Then we all get to participate in it, said Viper. What kind of pranks? Asked Sayuri. You know the pink disaster this moment, asked Hikari. The feather rumble? Asked Viper. That was him? Asked Sayuri surprised. Yeah, that and Kakashi's, I am a pervert trying to quit, and that Chunon's, I am married to this pole. Plus some others through the way, but this one were the bests. Sayuri was shocked. Only now she realized who was her teammate. He was Naruto, the pranking nightmare. That is what people called him. She heard all about him through Sarutobi. Tell you what, why don't you come for dinner tonight, at our house? Asked Naruto. In fact, you are all invited. Shrimp, you can't invite me, said Anko. I already live in your house and bang your mom every day. When Zabuza isn't, that is, said Viper. Touché, Viper, touché, said Anko. Sayuri was a bit nervous. I don't want to impose. Nonsense, yelled Naruto. It's not imposing if I offer. I accept, said Sai. It will be nice to see Haku again. Sayuri looked at her new team. Today she had made friends with Konoha's snake mistress and the pranking nightmare. She had been trained to the ground and was forced to taste the dirt with this new training. She knew that this was the team she wanted. One that would push her limits to the extreme. So without further thought, she said, sure, I accept as well. Then let's go, yelled Naruto, at Naruto's house. Miko was cooking the dinner. She knew she would have to do a big dinner as Naruto, Anko, Viper and Hikari were training and their appetites are always big after training. She always wondered how they ate so much. As she was distracted, Zabuza came into the kitchen. He saw her cooking and grinned. He came behind her and hugged her saying, that smells good, can I have a taste? Miko smiled. Whether you are talking about the diner or me, none you can get. The diner is not ready and I will not let it burn because Mr. Insatiable can keep his hands to himself. Zabuza grinned. He truly was blessed with two wonderful women that he could flirt with and they would flirt back. And the sex was incredible. I really have to thank that kid. Bummer, I wanted to try a Miko special. What, last night was not enough for you? I had the impression you were hard-pressed to keep up, said Miko. Changing the subject, shouldn't you be with Haku-chan? Poor girl may need you in this test. They don't allow it. She has to be there alone with the juries and the person that testies her because if I were there I could try to help her in her test. That is what the council said Zabuza. That sounds like a huge pile of bullshit, said Miko. It does, doesn't it? Anyway, I am confident that she will win the Chunin level, said Zabuza. May I ask why? Asked Miko. She has a very tactical mind, she has a great amount of speed, her control of her bloodline is incredible and she knows how to detect and dispel genjutsu like a pro, said Zabuza. That sounds like a proud father talking about his daughter more than a teacher talking about a student, said Miko. I am serious, she will make it Chunin. She will not make Junin because she doesn't have enough experience. Her defeat at the hands of the kid and that Iwa Junin in the bridge are proof enough, said Zabuza. Come now, you can't blame her. Naruto is Naruto, I bet even Sarutobi would have trouble defeating him. And the Iwa Junin held you, Anko and Kakashi back, how did she stand a chance? Said Miko. Don't get me wrong, I am proud of her, she has been the best thing, besides you and Anko, that has happened in my life. I couldn't ask for a better student in those long years of being a missing nin, said Zabuza. Not even Naruto? Asked Miko with a smile. Zabuza looked at the window. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't pick him even if I could. As Miko was shocked, he continued. Because I look at him and see that even if I tried, I wouldn't have succeeded in making him as powerful as he is. He is one hell of a kid. Miko smiled. Just then the door opened and Haku, completely exhausted, entered. Haku, you okay? Asked Zabuza, worried. Yeah, just chakra exhaustion. I am going to take a bath, said Haku as she walked slowly to the stairs. Oi Haku. What rank? Asked Zabuza impatient. Chunin, said Haku. Told you. Said Zabuza with a proud smile. All right, Mr. Proud Father, said Miko before a knock was heard on the door. Why don't you go see who it is before I decide to throw a pan at you? I am so scared. Help me, she is going to use throwing pan jutsu, joked Zabuza before he ran as a real pan almost had his head. He came to the door and opened it, being greeted by Team Anko. There you are, sweetie, said Zabuza. He saw the number of people and yelled inside, Miko-chan, I think you better make more dinner, we have guests. How many? Asked Miko from the kitchen, making Sayuri head snap in the direction of the kitchen. Sai and a strange girl, so that makes 2, said Zabuza. Good, you know how to count. If you know so much then perhaps you could put 2 more dishes in the table while I finish dinner, said Miko. What did you do to poor Miko-chan? She seems pissed, said Anko. He joked about my throwing pan jutsu, whined Miko from the kitchen. Zabuza, don't joke about that jutsu, said Anko. Fine. Stupid woman always stick together against me, said Zabuza. Of course we do, that is how we drained you last night, said Anko with a smirk. Naruto then saw Sayuri walking to the kitchen slowly, like she feared what she might find there. He walked to her and asked, something wrong? Sayuri looked at him in surprise as she has been so focused on the voice of the kitchen she didn't even saw him coming. She said, yeah, just who is in the kitchen? Go there and see, it's my mother Miko, said Naruto. Sayuri turned to the kitchen and walked towards it, this time a more confident step. She walked inside and gasped at seeing who was cooking. Miko continued cooking, not noticing how the new girl was looking at her. Makoto? Asked Sayuri. The world froze. Miko turned the stove slowly and turned to see the stranger. Zabuza and Anko came to the kitchen to see what was wrong. Miko looked at Sayuri in disbelief. Sayuri? Aunt Makoto! Yelled Sayuri as she ran to her and hugged her. I missed you so much, I thought you died that day Itachi attacked. Where have you been? I didn't know you were still alive, said Miko. Can someone explain what the hell is going on? Yelled Zabuza. Yeah, how do you know Sayuri, Mom? Asked Naruto. Miko looked at Naruto and said, because she is Sayuri Uchiha, my niece. The room was quiet. Then the collective voices of 6 different people rang. EHHHHHH. At the gates. Kakashi was having the shittiest of days. He was still doing guard duty and alone because his college for today was sick. Kakashi wondered how sick can a guy be if he already saw him hanging with his friends 3 times that day alone. More than that, he was not going to get the money they normally give to the unfortunate guy who has to stay at the gate all day. Thanks to the Hokage, he was just going to receive half of the payment. But that was not the worst. The worst was that he had already read his fucking book twice. What was he to do now? As he was grumbling to himself, Guy appeared crying rivers. I am sorry, my eternal rival. I was not able to eat your record of dancing with a crowd for 5 hours. I was only able to do 4 hours. Before Kakashi could say something, Guy steeled himself. But I won't give up, I will train hard and one day I will beat your record. You will see, and with that, he ran into the sunset. Kakashi was shocked for a whole minute, trying to process what happened. Then he covered his eyes and cried as he yelled, I hate my life. So, how come she is a Uchiha and is still alive after, Itachi? Asked Naruto, nervous as he knew he had to be careful. As much as Miko seemed well, she never truly overcame that night and talking about it had to be done with a bit of tact. They were all sitting in the kitchen, Miko and Sayuri on the same side of the table while the rest on the other side. They all were curious, even Zabuza and Haku, about this. Sai just wanted to see if their new teammate was better than Sasuke.Teme.No. Stick. Flipper. Sayuri had disappeared before that. I thought you were dead, said Miko. Well, I didn't. Hokage. Sama set it up at my request so that it looked like I had died, said Sayuri. Okay, why the hell would you do that? Asked Zabuza. Makoto, could you explain the different houses in the Uchiha family? Asked Sayuri. Sure, but my name is Miko, said Miko. Anyhow, the Uchiha was similar to the Hyugas in the way that our family was divided. However, we didn't call it branches but houses. Though it was much the same, main house and branch house. The branch were slaves to the main. Exactly, said Sayuri. I was born in the branch, hence this tattoo that I have. She then showed a tattoo hidden by the hair. It means I am a born slave. However, I was better than my clan's mates, especially in Genjutsu. That was why I had to disappear. I don't get it, said Anko. That clan values power, whether male or female. They always said the Uchiha were superior. They would treat you like a queen. Yes, and who do you think they wanted as a king? That moment everyone looked at her in shock. They saw that for a branch member I had a lot of potential, and that could be passed to my children. So they had arranged me to be Sasuke's wife. I totally get why you ran away now, said Viper. I would run away too. Yes, being married to that good-for-nothing Uchiha. No offense to you too, said Hikari. None taken. But you don't know the worst, said Sayuri. The worst is, he tried to rape me, saying that he was just preparing me for honeymoon. Everyone in the room was leaking killer intent. The air was dark and heavy due to the excessive amount. Across the street, a one-eyed silver-haired Junin who had just finished doing his shift at the gate was knocked out by the killer intent. That good-for-nothing brat, yelled Naruto. That is it, Naruto, let's go. Grab a spoon. Thin guy is going to lose his balls, the hard way, yelled Zabuza. Not before I stick a poisonous snake up his ass you won't, yelled Anko. Guys, tried Miko. Let's make the MOTHERFUCKER burn, yelled Hikari. I will help, my ink is more FLAMABLE, he will be a crisp in no time, yelled Sai. Guys, insisted Miko. No, I say we torture him, break every single bone in his body slowly and painfully, yelled Viper. My needles can amplify the pain. Give me 1 second and we will make that rapist SCREMA for his life, yelled Haku. Would you all listen for a second, yelled Miko, getting the attention of all. Sasuke is now in the hands of the Hokage. There is nothing more we can do. Besides, what is the point of all this? They all quieted down and took their seats again. Naruto then looked at Sayuri. So that is when you went to Oji-san? No, it took more 6 tries and at least 1 full beating by Fugaku because I was disobeying his son. He what? Yelled a now-possessed Miko. That good for nothing. Oh, if I could get my hands on him I would. Auntie Miko, it's all right. After that, I went to Sarutobi. He said he had a plan to make it so they believed that I was killed by missing Nin. And I have been living with Hokage Sama, using fake names until the Uchiha accident, said Sayuri. Everyone was quiet. Then Sayuri turned to Miko. Auntie Miko, I am sorry, but I can't still believe it was Itachi. Nissan, nor that he would leave Sasuke Teme alive. Yes, it was quite a shock, said Miko in a saddened voice. I wouldn't be alive myself if it wasn't for Naruto. Kun. Oh, by the way, Naruto has been my adopted son, though it is more safe to say he adopted me as his mother since I became Miko Uzumaki because of him. Oi, we helped too, yelled Hikari and Viper. Sayuri raised herself and walked towards Naruto. Once she had reached Naruto, she enveloped him in a hug. Thank you, Naruto-san, for saving Auntie Miko. Naruto was a bit at a loss of what to do, but then hugged her back. No problem. I gained a mom out of it, so I think I gained more from it, said Naruto, making all smile. Now that you guys mention it, what do you think happened to Sasuke? Asked Sai. I don't know, but sure I don't want to see that asshole again, yelled Naruto. Author style. Character focus. Sasuke. Sasuke was starting to get impatient. As he was about to meet the psychologist, he said that he had an offer. If he accepted to meet their master, he would write that Sasuke was mentally fit. Sasuke accepted, intrigued about who wanted to meet him. Now he was waiting in an empty room, for 15 minutes. Could this guy just hurry? He had enough with waiting for Kakashi. Kakashi, he was the one to blame. If he had trained him better, like that snake horde did with the Dobi, he would be the strongest guy ever. But the guy had to be fucking lazier than Inara. Suddenly, the door opened and a man he recognized as Danzo stepped in. What do you want from me? Ah, Uchiha-san. I hope that you are alright after what the Hokage tried to force on you, said Danzo. Yeah, whatever. Just tell me what you want, said Sasuke. I want to train you to be the ultimate shinobi, so that you can one day be the one to kill Itachi. That got Sasuke's attention. And one day, you may even get my support once you become clan head of the new Uchiha clan. Sasuke smirked. I am listening. That night, at Naruto's house. Sayuri turned in her bed. She was trying to sleep, but no matter what, she was finding it difficult. She couldn't stop thinking about a certain blonde shinobi. Why the hell can't I stop thinking about him? I am starting to lose my cool. I need to calm down. She raised herself from her bed. She walked towards the kitchen, going to drink a glass of water. She then heard some strange noises. She came towards a door and saw that the doors to both Naruto's and Miko's room was filled with silencing tags, but Naruto's door was not closed, just ajar. She peeked in and her eyes were widened, subtly changing to the Sharingan without she even realizing. Author style. Lemon Jutsu. Naruto was standing near the bed, trusting into Viper's cunt as she laid down on the bed, pleasing Hikari who sat on her face. Hikari and Naruto were kissing, moans and grunts escaping their lips. Sayuri's eyes were widened. Who are Viper and Hikari? How can they look so human? And since when, without noticing, one of her hands went to her snatch, fingering herself at the image as she couldn't take her eyes from it, her Sharingan recording everything. Viper moaned into Hikari's cunt as Naruto kept going faster and faster, chakra enhancing his movements. She knew they were being watched as she felt the chakra being used for the Sharingan. She also knew that it couldn't be Zabuza nor Anko nor Miko. Those three were too busy enjoying themselves. Their new Uchiha's voyeur bone was the only explanation for this. In any case, she was currently enjoying herself too much to give a damn. Unaware of the intruder, Naruto and Hikari continued their journey. To further appease his furry goddess, Naruto attacked Hikari's left breast with his hand while using his mouth on the other. Oh Kami. Oh fuck. Ah, exclaimed Hikari, who was being attacked twice. Viper's right breast was touched by Naruto's other hand, causing her to groan more loudly and move more quickly. When Naruto heard Hikari's yelling, he grinned. She complained about his lack of mouth as he moved from her breast to her ear. When he said, "The name Naruto will suffice," Hikari lost control and fell into Viper's mouth. Sayuri was biting her shirt to keep her groans from escaping her lips, and she was now openly fingering herself. As Hikari collapsed back on the bed, Naruto turned his attention to Viper. I have never seen anything like this. Why am I unable to look away? Why am I unable to switch off the Sharingan? Both Viper and Naruto were unable to contain it. Naruto. Viper. Naruto and Viper both came hard. Viper approached him as he was pulling out of her, swallowed his cock all at once, and gave Hikari a tail job with her tail. Hikari did the same to her, but her tail was only stroking the outside because it was too fluffy to be used to investigate Viper's insides the way Viper was doing to her. Sayuri's eyes were wide. By now, shouldn't he be down? A man typically only survives one round. What the devil? While Viper continued to suck, Naruto was simply enjoying the show for the time being. The tail show was really erotic, he had to admit. After licking his fingers, he ended a little and slipped two into Viper's ass, causing the girl in question to groan. He chose to play himself. They continued, gradually increasing their speed. Sayuri was experiencing her first orgasm of the evening, too. The four arrived shortly after, and the fourth person was identified by a stain outside the bedroom. She calmed down a little as Viper arrived for the third time that evening. Hikari rolled onto her hands and knees. Naruto smirked evilly as he glanced at both of them. One that was only visible to Sayuri. One that caused the witness to shudder and experience another orgasm. Naruto created a clone of himself by using the shadow clone jutsu. When he saw that, Sayuri's eyes grew wide, but what he did next caused them to burst from her skull. He made the same hand gestures as the clone. Advanced henge. Double paradise. Both Naruto's and the clone's cocks were now present. The three girls' eyes widened as one of them claimed Viper, who was lying down, and the other took hold of Hikari, who was beginning to stand up, from behind. "Oh fuck. You beast? Fuck me Naruto. Fuck me," exclaimed Viper. "Oh Kami. Oh fuck. Ah," exclaimed Hikari. Naruto began to put all of his faith in them, causing them to both groan aloud. He tightened his jaw. Yes, he had previously fucked them, but never simultaneously in both of their holes. It felt like having two cocks and continuously orgasming someone. There were other people drooling besides Hikari and Viper. Sayuri, who frequently saw herself in Hikari and Viper's shoes, was drooling too while hiding in her place. She returned shortly after, blissfully unconscious, unable to handle it any longer. Both Narutos continued to have faith in the girls. He was able to continue even though they had already visited enough times. But soon, neither the original nor the clone could contain it any longer. Naruto VIP ear, Hikari I. He scattered as the clone approached. However, this meant that Naruto was simultaneously struck by the power of 4 orgasms. For a brief moment, his brain exploded, and he collapsed, unconscious like his girls. Author style. Kai's Lemon Jutsu. Time skip. Next morning. Author style. Being the first to wake up that day, an all too happily fucked Miko emerged from her room to discover an unconscious Sayuri on the floor, her pants and underwear pulled down, and the floor obviously wet with her fluids. Miko turned to see Naruto's bedroom door open and the condition of the people inside. That would account for it. She most likely caught them in the act. Then she took Sayuri in her arms and carried her to her room. Later, she would have to speak with her. Anko emerged from the bedroom, barefoot, and in the damp area as she returned to tidy up the mess. Turning to Miko, Anko said, "Please tell me no one pissed in here." Miko said, "No," not daring to move a muscle. Anko asked, "So it is just water?" Anko's eyes widened as Miko said, "No, it is Sayuri's pussy juice." Miko rolled her eyes as she went to get something to clean up the mess after Anko said, "Oh, what you doing? Give me something to clean my foot, unless you want to lick it." Time skip. A few moments later. Author style. Sayuri awoke in her chamber. She didn't know how she got there. What on earth? Wasn't I? Damn, I was discovered. I hope it wasn't Anko or any of those three. She saw that everyone had already finished their breakfast as she descended. "Hey Sayuri," Naruto exclaimed. "Come join us." After last night, how can he be so energetic? Despite my doubts, I sat down. Sayuri. She did notice Anko grinning. She was the one who discovered me. Shit. I'm in trouble. Miko said, "Sayuri, dear, can we speak for a bit later?" Sayuri said, "Huh? Oh, sure." Naruto said, "Well, then, you can meet us later, Sayuri." After he and the others had completed work. "Me and the girls are going out to train. Haku, Sai should be there, you want to." Haku was already at the door when she said, "Lead the way, please." Naruto broke out in a sweat. Is she related to the 4th Hokage or something? "Well, come on, Anko. I have a mission today and I need an escort," Zabuza said as the two left, with Viper and Hikari trailing behind. "Rank?" Anko inquired. Zabuza said, "B rank?" Zabuza laughed and said, "Sure, if it was AD, I would refuse." Before long, the two were leaving. The two Uchihas were left in the room. For a long time, the room was silent because Miko was at a loss for words. I should have asked Anko to help, but she would have permanently scarred the girl. Damn it. "Sayuri, dear, I stumbled on a curious sight this morning," Miko replied. Sayuri swallowed. Nervously, Sayuri questioned, "What? What king of sight?" The sight of a girl, unconscious, in the hall, pants and panties down and both her hand in the floor covered in a strange liquid. "You wouldn't have an explanation for that, would you?" replied Miko. Sayuri's eyes were wide. She was at a loss for words. "Fine. I couldn't sleep last night, so I came down for water," she finally sighed. Miko said, "Young girl, that was not water." "I know, calm down and let me explain." Sayuri exclaimed, looking visibly ashamed. Anyway, as I came to the hallway, I heard some strange voices. I saw your door and Naruto's filled with silence tags, but Naruto's door was not closed. I see, Miko remarked, and you decided to take a peek? Sayuri replied, well, yes. And you caught Naruto and Hikari and Viper doing it, Miko replied. Sayuri nodded and broke a world record by getting redder than Hinata. To Sayuri's surprise, Miko said, I should have warned you. They're actually quite sexually active for their age. You see, Naruto and those two have been together for a long time. They understand each other and end up falling in love with each other. But aren't Hikari and Viper summons? How could they look so human? Replied Sayuri. From what I know, it is an advanced henge and it is used in some summon clans, like serpents and foxes. Anyway, I want to know why didn't you get away when you could? I don't know. It was like I was glued. I couldn't move. I couldn't even deactivate my Sharingan, replied Sayuri. Sayuri's previous record was broken when Miko said, oh, so you used the Sharingan, nice girl. You will have those images for the rest of your life. Sayuri shouted, you didn't have to tell me, but I fell. Draw to him. It is like, I don't know, but I can't take him out of my head. Miko turned to face her nephew. What could she do? Even though she knew what she meant, she was aware that Sayuri would face difficulties if she attempted to join the group because Hikari and Viper were fiercely protective of Naruto. Sayuri turned to face Miko and said, look, Sayuri. It is possible that you don't have a chance in that area. Viper and Hikari are very protective of Naruto. To the extreme. They will not accept just anyone that comes saying they love him. And they are right to do it as not all girls can be with him. This statement perplexed Sayuri, who asked, what do you mean? Naruto seems strong, but he is also just a guy. He has his moments where shards of the past comes and he needs support himself. That is why Viper and Hikari are always close or never leave him alone. They know that the moment he is alone again, he could break. Sayuri questioned, why? What happened with him? Miko decided she was family after biting her bottom lip, and filled her in on everything. In Naruto's presence, since neither Sai nor Haku wanted to participate in any training, Naruto had parted ways with the two lovers. Perhaps they are right, he thought, perhaps we should have a little respite. It's been a while since you pulled a practical joke. I've already spotted our favorite target, Kyuubi said. Where? Then he noticed Kakashi's broken expression and looked at where he was. He felt sorry for the man. He appeared lifeless, as if he had lost everything. He's dead. Look at him. Perhaps I ought to speak with him. Gaki. Many of your torments were caused by this man. Are you certain you want to speak with that person? Yes, and then we go play a practical joke on someone. A councilman, perhaps. Kid, have I ever been able to stop you? After giving Hikari and Viper a signal, Naruto declared, I am going to talk to Kakashi, he looks dead. Hikari said, good for that useless Cyclops. Viper said, I agree. Do not worry about him, Naruto. Everything he is facing now, he deserves it. But Naruto approached him and remarked, man, I never imagined seeing the copy ninja Kakashi in this condition. Kakashi let out a sigh. What do you want, Naruto? I am miserable as I am, don't make it tougher. Seriously, what did you lost? You made Junin once. Take the exam again and, replied Viper. This has nothing to do with rank, or even the team. This has to do with the fact I failed. I failed Obito, said Kakashi. Naruto collapsed next to him. Then he replied, care to tell a tale to a soon-to-be Chunin? Kakashi sighed as he gave him a look. Well, I had this teammate. His name was Obito Uchiha and he was different from all other male Uchihas. Naruto asked, why, was he blonde? Which caused Kakashi to laugh at the picture. No, he wasn't. It is not in the physical attributes, it is just that he wasn't arrogant. And Uchiha, not arrogant? Hikari exclaimed, startled. As much as it is hard to believe, yes. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is he was quite humble, especially because he by the age of 15, didn't have the Sharingan yet. Ouch, that must have been a drag, being in a clan where everyone can use those eyes but him, said Viper. It wasn't just that, but even after he was a Chunin, he was still a Dobi. I was the rookie in my time and by the time of 15 I was already a Junin. Naruto remarked, that is some hard promotion. Is that why you acted so high and mighty? Because you just thought that you were the greatest for having such fast evolution? Maybe, but that was not all. Our team had also Rin Inuzuka and Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. All was great until that mission. Kakashi then proceeded to recount the mission's history. Naruto listened to the story without saying anything at all. When he was done, he faced Kakashi and uttered. Kakashi nodded. Can I be blunt with you? When Kakashi remained silent, Naruto went on. You are an idiot. You have had perfect examples of teamwork and friendship, yet you narrow your training to a retarded offspring off a dead clan because you own his relative. But shut up, Naruto screamed. Listen for a moment. Do you think that this is what he wanted? Obito died, he gave you his eye as a last wish, and yet, you go against everything he stands for? What were you thinking? Naruto's eyes widened as Kakashi responded, that the council would fuck me up if I didn't. Do you think I wanted this? I wanted to uphold my sensei's and Obito's teachings. But then, some members of the council came to me, and they gave me orders. To try and eliminate you. To give all my time to train Sasuke and make sure he lived. I even had to teach him the Chidori. Naruto trembled. That kind of method. In Sasuke's hands? Does he have it down yet? No, but he is in the final step and he knows how to achieve it, replied Kakashi. But why obey them? As a ninja, you only obey the Hokage, shouted Hikari. Viper said, exactly, unless they threatened you. Yes, one of them was Sayaki, of the Haruno family. If I didn't do what they said, she would have me pay for things for thrice the normal. The other persons were the Hokage's old teammates, the elders Homura, Kaharu and Danzo. They threatened me to also cut in my payment, force the banks to froze my account and that I only got D-rank missions. The nerve! Hikari exclaimed. I agree, with the payment of only D-ranks, one almost can't live, replied Viper. Those teams. They are really despicable monsters, replied Naruto. A tear appeared in Kakashi's lonely eye as everyone turned to face him. That was not the worst. They threatened to destroy the grave of Obito and Sensei. Everyone was silent as they stared at the gray-haired Chunin in disbelief. Then, looking down, Naruto said, Kakashi, I forgive you. What? Kakashi inquired. I forgive you. You can blame the Hokage, but he made me a soft heart. So I forgive you. But why didn't you told Sarutobi, Jisan? You think I am blind? Don't you see that the council undermines the Hokage? He had no chance, and with only my testimony against 4, I would lose the battle, Kakashi replied. Naruto yelled, well, you have a chance to redeem yourself, to attract Kakashi's attention. Starting with getting on time and to respect everyone around you. Drop your I am better than you attitude, won't get you anywhere. And above all, stop reading smut in public. It will raise the opinion about you. Kakashi gave Naruto a look. You mean it? As he leapt in the direction of the Hokage tower, Naruto exclaimed, sure do. Now excuse me, I have some councilmen to prank. Come girls, let's raise hell. After just 15 minutes, there were shouts of indignation and a gathering crowd. Kakashi grinned. You resemble Sensei so much that maybe I should heed your advice and make it worthwhile this time. After a lengthy wait, the Chunin exam was finally here. As he prepared himself, Naruto was a little restless. Then he recalled a discussion he had with Viper and Hikari. Author style. Jutsu. Free flashback fearfully, Naruto questioned, what do you mean I will have to find another lover? You are breaking up with me. No. That's not it, Viper exclaimed, attempting to soothe Naruto, who was now experiencing hyperventilation. Hikari was attempting to, wrapping her tails around him in an improvised hug while licking his cheek. What we mean is that you have to find a human lover too, so you can have children with her. Naruto exclaimed, you mean you guys can't get pregnant? That is not it, dummy, exclaimed Hikari. It's just that whatever childs we might have, will be either foxes or serpents and would belong to our clans. Never would you get to have a human child with us. Desperately, Naruto uttered, but, we could always adopt. Viper said, it wouldn't be the same thing. We know how much you want to be a father of your own child, so it would never be the same thing. Naruto then looked down and uttered a few nonsensical words, but. What was that? Hikari inquired. Even after Naruto raised his voice a bit, they were still unable to understand. You will have to speak louder, Naruto, we don't get what you are. Naruto sank, his eyes resting on his palms, and yelled, I can't. Okay, I can't. Aside from you, and the people that live in this house, most people hate me because of the damn fox. How am I supposed to get a girlfriend like that? One that is okay to share me with you guys. How? Hikari and Viper exchanged glances. They were unaware that he struggled with confidence when it came to love. Hikari said, Naruto, don't mark yourself so low, you got us. Yes, but I didn't do a thing. You were the ones that finally showed to me how much you loved me. How am I supposed to do that with a woman who will probably hate me? Naruto, stop, exclaimed Viper. Listen, just act your way and if worst comes to worst me and Hikari can help you pick someone. Besides, I know one person interested. With a hint of optimism, Naruto questioned, really? Who? No telling. You must find by yourself, just know that she is close. The author's style is flashback without jutsu, Kai. And there he was. Even though he suspected Sayuri was the culprit, he was still afraid. Even though Viper reassured him that all he needed to do was act normally and occasionally heed some advice, he was still anxious. I'm having the worst nervous breakdown ever because of these girls. Naruto, pay attention. Simply ask her if she would like to spend time with us following the Chunin exam. Yes, that ought to suffice, he pondered. Would you mind simply jumping on her, showing her how she makes you feel, and having sex with her? When I was looking for a partner, I worked with Kaisei. Kyubi was asked. Kyubi, that's not how things work with people. I can't just do that. If she didn't neuter me and be done with it, she would go crazy and scream, and I would have angry women chasing me. Naruto answered. You people really have a lot of issues. Even though your lives are so brief, you guys spend them paying attention to the little things. I've been alive for thousands of years, and I've never had so many issues since choosing Kaisei. I wish it were that simple for once. I'm not sure why, but every time I try to talk to Sayuri after the conversation with the girls, it feels like my throat gets rough and my mouth gets dry. She then becomes very agitated, and I felt as though my thoughts had been blown away and left empty. Like how you felt when you wanted to express your feelings to Hikari and Viper. Really, why not just put the girl on a leash and let her bark if she is capable of doing everything? You're just making things harder, stupid fox. For once, please allow me to think. Alright. In Sayuri's presence, Sayuri's situation remained unchanged. Her feelings for the trio had only intensified since her conversation with Miko, God. She still struggled to avoid calling her Makoto. She became even more agitated when she noticed that Naruto occasionally stared at her while she was training. Although she didn't understand the joke, Enko had noticed and made a joke about having Hinata version 2 on the team. She simply lacked the bravery to say anything. Every time she tried, it seemed like her throat would become immobile and her heart would stop beating. How am I going to accomplish this? How can I express my love for him? Discreetly asking everyone in the house, she received the same response. Not much luck. Miko threatened Enko with corrupting her niece after Enko had told her to strip and throw herself at him, saying that he would bag her like rabbits. She prepared herself and gave herself a mental shock. She would now need to concentrate on the Chunin exams. Sai was there when she descended. A few weeks later, Sai simply moved him. He preferred to live in that house, especially with the company, but he and Haku hadn't done anything yet, preferring to take things slowly and find themselves. Sayuri went to make breakfast and said, "Morning Sai.kun. Miko.oka.san, where are you?" She said that we needed to get a good night's sleep for today, so she and Zabuza went to Anko's house to sleep. Sai responded, she should be coming home soon. Miko entered through the open door, her hair disheveled, but otherwise there were no indications of what she had done the night before. Good morning. Where is Naruto? She asked while making breakfast. Here. As he descended the stairs, Naruto exclaimed, "Good morning, everyone, are you prepared to be Chunin?" Yes, it will be quite the experience to finally reach the God-forsaken rank, Sai replied. Sayuri said, "Yes, I too can't wait. Don't get cocky, kids, there is going to be a lot of competition in there," Miko replied. We have nothing on them, particularly now that Kakashi and Enko had both trained us. Man, he was tough, but I learned a lot, Naruto yelled. Furthermore, Chidori is a very charming technique. I'm eager to give it a try on one of those aspiring Chunins. Remember Kakashi's words. Never against a fellow leaf ninja, Miko replied. Obviously. Who do you suppose I am? Someone who acts like a child and wears an orange mask. From where did that originate? Naruto asked, causing the others to perspire. Where are Hikari and Viper? With a flush on her face, Sayuri asked. Tonight, they visited the summoning world. The Uchiha girl blushed more forcefully as Naruto said, they said that if they stayed here, we would end up being too tired today. Damn, shrimp, that's a surefire way to blow you away. Well, I guess it had to be, Enko said as she entered. You guys must exert as much energy as you can. Naruto remarked, I suppose you are correct, but that doesn't make me any happier, Enko. Ka-san. It's time to call them. But I need to speak with you first, Sayuri. You think Shrimp is cheating on his summons? Enko turned to Miko, and Sayuri nodded before following him out of the kitchen. Never will, not yet. She grinned and said, I believe they somehow talked him into this. Naruto paused in the hallway and gazed at her, wondering if she could be any cuter. Her cheeks were flushed, and she was staring at everything but him. He only hopes he can pull it off. Unable to finish the sentence, Naruto said, I was wondering if you would hum after the Chunin exams. Do you want to hang out? With hope, Sayuri finished. Well, yes. I am aware of this. Is there a restaurant we could try? Yeah, and maybe we could later take a stroll in the park. I'd really like to. Excellent. I suppose we ought to go meet Sai and go to the Chunin exams. With a deep red flush on their faces, the two went back to the kitchen, where Naruto made some hand gestures and uttered the words, summoning jutsu. Before long, his two lovers arrived. Are you ready, girls? All set. With all eyes on her, she blushed as Viper, Hikari, and surprisingly Sayuri yelled. Then, Gakis, step on it, Anko shouted. Haku descended the stairs as they ran in the direction of the academy, turned to face Anko, and asked, Where is Zabuza? Did the others depart already? They have to arrive at work early, unlike some ice girls. Anko smiled and said, As for Zabuza, he won't be available for now. In the presence of Zabuza, when Zabuza woke up, he said, that was one hell of a night. He discovered that he was still bound to his bed. WTF. Devilish women. Damn you. Once I'm able to leave this place, I'll reimburse you for this. With Naruto and the team. All right, we made it here at last. Who would have guessed that I would return here so quickly after leaving this place? Naruto remarked. Remember that the first part hasn't even been revealed yet, it will be a simple ruse to marry out the losers. Sayuri said, You guys just keep quiet and ignore them. All right, I understand. The likelihood of becoming a Chunin increases with decreasing competition, said Sai. Naruto grinned broadly and said, Don't worry, we will do as you say. Sayuri grinned. Another thing she enjoyed about this team was that everyone was free to voice their worries and opinions, and the others would listen to them. Even Anko, in all her crazy ways, would listen if a genin said something. All right, let's get started on this difficult test. Did I just sound like a Nara? Sai inquired. He had made great progress since he began working with them, and the others laughed at him. He was more forthcoming and even joked occasionally, but he preferred to remain professional. Upon entering the academy, they discovered two people dressed as Chunin telling them to quit. Normally, this wouldn't happen to many people because such warnings are very harsh, but in this instance, they created the illusion that they were on the third floor. God, this is so dumb. I can see why ninjas from other villages would fall for it, but our own? Can't they see Koketsu and Azumo in those genin? Sayuri muttered. Whatever, let's just move on discreetly, Sai replied. They were nearly off the ground when they heard a voice that none of them had anticipated hearing again. Drop the genjutsu, we caught on to you already. Then many of the people who were blocked there began to move up, and they turned to see Sasuke standing there as if nothing had happened, smug smile and all. Sasuke? What on earth are you doing here? Shouldn't you be confined to your home? Shocked, Naruto asked. As if they could keep me in jail, huh? However, I must thank you. Sasuke grinned and said, You got me rid of two worthless teammates and an even more worthless sensei with your maneuvers in the council and the Hokage. Worthless? I remember you used me to save yourself, so I guess that makes you worse than worthless, Sai said, preparing Sasuke for battle. Hey, aren't you Naruto Uzumaki, the Rookie of the Year? A strange voice, belonging to a boy wearing green spandex, asked, who decided to teach Guy how to reproduce. Because he is already multiplying, Naruto's team wondered. Yes, I am, and I assume that you are a Might Guy student and a member of Team 9. I apologize for not knowing your name, Naruto answered. You are aware of the name of my young instructor. Yes, I was aware of the strength of Guy Sensei's youthful flames because of the widespread recognition of his name. And I am the Hidden Leaf handsome Devil Rock Lee. And I challenge you to a spar, the odd boy said. I want to demonstrate that a hardworking genius can defeat a natural genius. I apologize, buddy. I chose the incorrect target. I know all about the strength of hard work, Naruto remarked. Everything I achieved was with hard work, sweat, tears, and even sometimes blood. Furthermore, since I don't want to demonstrate my abilities prior to the test, I will have to decline. Lee broke down in tears, saying, That was so youthful. Yes, to conceal one's talent in order to unleash it in all its splendor. To tell the truth, Naruto Uzumaki, you are a very respectable ninja. I'm eager to put my skills to the test against you. Sayuri grinned and said, He is not a bad guy, a bit loud and excitable, but not bad. He then ran to meet his teammates. Indeed, his sensei is the worst. Naruto remarked, I can predict they will be devoted friends. And very loud headaches too. Yes, still I would prefer that he wouldn't yell so much, Hikari replied. My ears can only take so much. I am also quite disturbed by the loud tone, Sai replied. A furious Uchiha, who detested being ignored and had just been subjected to it, was left behind as Naruto said, "Come on, let's keep moving." They were confronted by numerous ninja who were glaring at them as soon as they arrived in the middle of the room, some of whom even threatened to kill them. It is normal. Sayuri clarified. They always glare at the rookies, to see if they can intimidate them, and the ones with killer intent are from Iwa, so no surprise there. The others nodded, but Naruto shrugged, perhaps a little too paranoid, because he couldn't get rid of the feeling that one of them had a red-haired ninja with all of his killer intent focused on him. Hey everyone. Even though Ino was somehow very close to Choji, they all turned to see Team 10 approaching when a familiar female voice yelled, "I see you made it here. Wait a moment, Sai, weren't you on Sakura's team?" After Kakashi and Sakura displayed signs of incapacity and Sasuke committed acts of betrayal, the team was dissolved. Though for some reason Sasuke was able to participate in the Chunin exam, which means that either the psychologist was an idiot or he was controlled so he would give permission for Sasuke to enter the exams, Sai replied. Therefore I ended up in Naruto's team. What about Forehead? Ino asked, looking shocked. Although she lost her rank, she is still eligible to retake the Genin exam this year. However, I'm not sure if she will. Naruto remarked. She had a hard reality check loaded on her. After nodding, Ino turned to face Sayuri and asked, "Who is she?" "I'm Sayuri, and I am part of this team because they were one member short for this exams and I needed a team to enter." "Come on, Sayuri. Chan, you make it sound like you're going to leave us after the Chunin exam," Naruto remarked. In a dejected tone, he concluded, "that we are only good for you to pass this exam, and nothing else." Sayuri was left talking incoherently as she attempted to say multiple things at once, but everyone understood that she loved the team and wasn't just there for the tests. Naruto turned to Ino and asked, "So, what's with you and Choji?" While laughing, "Are you a thing?" "Well," began Ino, "after having some pretty good advice, I started to respect Choji more and before I knew it, I started to fall for him." Ino blushed, and Choji had the biggest smile you could ever see in a person going beyond anime possibilities. One thing led to another after I asked him if he wanted to hang out after a few weeks. She turned to face Hikari and mouthed, "Thank you." That only Naruto failed to notice. "You guys are doing fantastic. I'm thrilled for you," Naruto remarked. "Hello. Everybody is present. Fantastic." They turned to see Team 8, with Hinata clinging to Kiba, as a loud male voice said, "Okay. The rookies are all here. Wait, where is Sasuke?" As Sasuke entered, fuming the entire time, Naruto said, "Oh, he is just coming in." Beside him were two children they had never seen before. One had blonde hair, wore a face mask, and was dressed in green Chunin clothing. The other had brown hair and sunglasses, but unlike Shino, this one wore an Anbu-like outfit. "Who are those men who accompany him? Sai, why aren't Sakura and you with him?" Kiba inquired. As Sai reiterated, Naruto and his girls turned to face the men with Sasuke, who appeared a little too composed. It was unnerving, and all three of them thought the same thing. Those guys mean business. "One thing. Why is Hinata clinging to you in that manner?" With a sly smile, Ino asked. Despite Kiba's enormous grin, both of them flushed. "Well, it's like this, we're together. We are currently dating after I asked her out once and she accepted." Unnoticed, Hinata mouthed, "Thank you," to Viper. "Well, did anyone take the big step yet?" Knowing the responses he would receive, Naruto asked. Kiba howled, and Ino blushed and began sputtering some nonsense. "Hell yeah, the best thing I've ever experienced." "Mean, she can't stop eating. But I love her still," Kiba remarked, causing Hinata to flush profusely. "I should have known that Dogboy would just go ahead and do it." As everyone else laughed and Kiba turned pale, Naruto said, "And not yet, Ino. I hope Hiyashi doesn't find out or you're screwed. I've heard that the Akamichi have the ability to enlarge any part of their bodies. Consider the possibilities." "Arrow. Baka, yeah, what a relief. I couldn't handle it if she was still a fangirl," yelled Ino, striking Naruto in the head, which hurt more than he anticipated. She must have been training. "You know you should keep it down, unless you want to draw unwanted attention," a voice said, causing them to turn to face a man with glasses, gray hair, and purple hair who was much older than they were. If his headband was any indication, he was from Leaf. "Are you, too?" Naruto asked. "I'm Kabuto, and like you guys, I'm a genin." In response, Kabuto said, "I can tell you that this isn't my first time, and this is tough, unlike the simple D-rank missions you new skirts have been doing." "Hey, Kabuto-san, this is really tough if you had failed already once," Ino replied. Shocked, Kabuto said, "Actually, this is my 7th time." You're terrible, damn it, Kiba chuckled, but Hinata slapped him across the chest and muttered, it is not nice to joke about our allies, Kiba.kun. Anyway, I'm feeling giving today, so I'll share some data I collected from previous years with you. I'll tell you what I know if you just ask for someone's name or tell me how they look, Kabuto said. Naruto pointed to the child who was still concentrating killer intent on him and said, I want to know about that Suna kid over there and that Iwa kid over there. Alright, let's check. The Keisuke's youngest son, Sabaku no Gaara, is joined by his brother and sister, Sabaku no Tamari and Sabaku no Kankuro. Kabuto remarked, they have completed 15D rank, 5C rank, and 2B rank, but wait, it says here that he leaves this mission unharmed. Kit, that is Shukaku's container. Take caution, he appears unstable, and if the report is to be believed, the child has Shukaku's flawless defense. Which defense are you referring to? Sand. His sand is fast and alive, and if it catches you, it will crush you. But it does more than that. It surrounds him with a very difficult .to break shield that will keep out anything that tries to hurt him. I appreciate the caution. Maworu Iwasan comes in second. His partners are Kira Arwiden and Karatomori, and he is the son of missing Nin Daisuke Iwasan. Prefers ninjutsu and has accomplished 6C rank missions and 17D rank missions, Kabuto stated. Did you not kill Daisuke, Kit? Not really. Minnows just ruined his brain, but I suppose I now understand why he despises me. Yes, he most likely wants to kill you as well. Be wary of backstabbing. Iwa is known to do anything for the sake of a mission. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if they trained their kunoichis to be seductresses from an early age. I swear I will. Kabuto had gone on to describe the various regions during Naruto's conversation with Kyuubi, concluding with the remark that sound was novel and most likely feeble. The sound genin sprang into action, but before they could approach Kabuto, Sai pulled out a scroll and quickly drew, Nimpo. Shujo Giga. His illustrations of three bulls came to life, charging at the three before colliding with them and exploding, driving the three back. You better not try to attack leaf ninjas, or I will not be responsible for your deaths, Sai said. All right, you maggots, get over it, time for the first part to start, and I will have no fight here, got it? A voice yelled, causing them all to turn toward a man Naruto recognized as Ibiki, Anko's partner in torturing souls. At this, everyone gave a nod, using the Junin. Kurenai tried to calm herself and said, well, we'll have to wait and see if they pass this exam. By the way, has anyone seen Kakashi recently? I have, he has been doing guard duty a lot, when he isn't helping Naruto, said Anko. Guard duty? That is Chunin work, isn't it? And by, help Naruto, what do you mean? Asuma said, I thought he hated his guts. Well, he detested himself, but things went wrong, and he is now treating them more seriously. In addition, the Hokage demoted him back to Chunin, so he is merely carrying out his duties, Anko replied. Oh no, you'll have to share that tale with me at some point. Do you believe they're prepared? Kurenai inquired. Yes, I agree, we will see them shortly, Asuma said. Ibiki is the first proctor, confusing Kurenai and making Anko smile. Wonderful. I can't wait for all those genins to emerge and for my genins to do so effortlessly, with joy, Anko said. Who is Ibiki? Kurenai inquired. How could you not know, Nai? Chan? Ibiki Morino is my mentor and partner in the T&I division. Fearfully, Kurenai said, torture. Don't be concerned. Ibiki is the type of person who makes his prisoners wish they were dead without actually touching them. He has excellent mental abilities. Anko laughed in a way that reminded everyone that she had once been an apprentice to Orochimaru. I would say at least half of that room will piss their pants if they don't pass out, she said. With the genin. A written exam? I thought the academy was over? You aced it back then, so what are you afraid of? I didn't study for this, I studied like crazy back then. All right, listen up, maggots. You have to answer all 9 of the questions on the test. The final question will be the 10th one. You forfeit a point if you are discovered to be cheating. A person and his team are fired after they are found to have cheated 3 times. Do you have any questions? Ibiki inquired. When a child held up his hand, Ibiki declared, numbers 12, 25, and 73 are out. You're not allowed to ask questions. Now turn your papers over and get going. How the fuck am I supposed to know all this? Naruto was staring blankly at the questions, but they did. I've got a plan, kid, for you to pass and pull a fantastic practical joke on him. How? Soon after, Naruto grinned broadly as he rose from his chair, approached the genin in front of him, and exchanged papers in front of everyone before returning to his seat and signing his name, shocking everyone. What the hell do you think you just did, Gaki? Ibiki inquired. Well, I have the answers. I only lose 1 point because I completed everything in a single act. Naruto replied, so there, I can still pass. Okay, kid, you can have this one, Ibiki said with a smile. However, anyone else who attempts that tactic will be eliminated, you get it? Everyone nodded and went on with the test, while Naruto, bored beyond belief, simply pretended to sleep. The room was much more deserted by the time Ibiki gave the order to stop. All right, maggots, one last question. However, there are rules for this one. Simply leave if you don't want to take it, and you'll have lost the exams. Then we will definitely accept it. What sort of regulations are those? Kiba shouted. Ibiki grinned and said, I'll tell you if you let me finish. You can now accept the question, but if you don't, you'll be Genin forever. This made everyone shudder. Naruto had only one idea, bullshit. As soon as the room began to empty, Naruto saw the plan, eliminated the others, and grinned before pulling off yet another practical joke. Hey there, you naughty vixen, Naruto muttered in his sleep, as growls and other menacing noises suddenly erupted. Do you want to assist me in wiping out the world? Still, asleep, he said. 5 people were quietly laughing. Viper, Hikari, Sayuri, Sai, and Ibiki. People began to panic, especially the leaf ninjas who believed Kyuubi was possessing the child. The first 4, who were aware of the relationship between Kyuubi and Naruto as master and disciple, simply chuckled at his antics. Ibiki was amused even before the child made his job easier by pointing out that most teams had already been eliminated and those in this area were prepared to break. Yes, Konoha, burn. The teams from Suna and Iwa glared at him as he said, turn it to ashes. Then maybe we will go to Suna, or Iwa. When everyone was staring at him nervously, Ibiki smirked and said, okay, maggots, time for the 10th question, you, all, pass. Naruto pretended to wake up as everyone began yelling after being silent for a good few seconds. WHAA. What was it that I missed? Naruto yawned. Jesus, Ibiki, looks like you were in a gangbang and you didn't have enough holes. Naruto exclaimed, unable to contain his disgust as Ibiki went on to explain the significance of the Chunin's work in information gathering, even exposing his head. That resulted in a blow to the head that knocked him to the ground, demonstrating that Ibiki remained fit despite his preference for mental strikes. Have you had fun yet, shrimp? Hey, that's unfair. I'm only called that by Anko. Ka-san. I can't be called that, Naruto screamed. The room filled with mist before Ibiki could respond. Well, so many genins for me to torture, he said. Can't wait. After the mist cleared, Zabuza appeared in the center of everything, grinning. My name is Zabuza Momochi, demon of the bloody leaf. And I can do whatever I want with you shrimps for the next few hours. Less than half of you will stand when I'm finished. Proceed to training ground 44 now. You will be eliminated if you are not present within 5 minutes, move it now.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.